Okay, there. Now I am back. You guys should be able to join with that link. There is Venus. Okay, add to the call. Hey, Venus.
There we go. Hey, Ron.
This is crazy, I tell you what.
I don't think I like the streaming system.
Oh, I think, well, we get used to it. It'll be all right. Just a matter of functionality because we're used to doing just the audio thing. Let me get
Yeah.
your voice turned up there. Okay, now you should be able to be heard. Okay, now say something.
Something.
There you go. All right, everybody, we got it. We got it working. But Venus is hiding. She is hiding her beautiful face.
Yes, I'm
And
shy tonight.
yeah, right. Because you had too many bottles of champagne already. 'Cause-
No, too many long work hours. I've got bags
oh,
under my eyes.
oh boy, oh boy. Ah, come on, you can share. All right, now we gotta get Carol in here. We gotta get Maria in here. Where are they at? Hmm.
Have you heard from them?
Carol said give her 5 minutes, but that was like 3 minutes ago, so I don't know.
Okie dokie.
Neutron is here though. So hey, Neutron, what's going on? All right, he's in the Mixler chat.
Mixler chat. Oh, I don't think I can see that from here, can I?
No, I don't think so. But you can see the. Oh, there's Carol. Oh
Ha!
my
Now
gosh.
you can. Okay. No.
Oh my gosh, who is that?
I don't know. She's under the benefit of the white light. I was just about to. In fact, I was in the process of. I'm going to tell him. Never mind. I was texting Neutron to tell him that I could hear you guys, and I can see you. Hi, Vanessa. I cannot see you.
Hey, Mama. How's it doing?
Hello, hello, hello.
She's hiding.
Yeah, I'm being shy. I'm being shy. I'm sorry.
You mean you're not going to be on camera? You mean?
No, I get to look at you guys though.
That's not fair. But look at. Okay, wait. Okay, look at. See, can you see this?
Oh, you got your little button.
Oh, that's adorable.
My little
What do you
video
think?
button. Yeah.
What do you think? Is it just like me? I don't.
So where did you put your sticker at and your magnet? Now don't put your
my
magnet
magnet's on the refrigerator. Yes, and my sticker. Can you see behind? Let's see if I can.
Not yet.
Just as I got this fixed up.
Oh, there you go, right there.
And I want to say, and I want to say, okay. So, all right, Tron, you can answer this question. First of all, everybody, look at that object that is. Ooh, whoops! I can't. Right there. Do you see that? In fact, hold on, because can I grab the only. Okay, hold on. Stepping away.
We got her working.
Oh, she's gonna climb for it.
Okay, go back to the bed. Right. If I know,
she already has champagne
pants or those boots, but I didn't know I was going to be on camera. Okay, wait. I mean, that much of me. All right, look at. So it was worth it though because.
What I like about this
number one, you all got
video,
a New Year's Eve laugh. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep, I can hear you.
Am I? Is this working? Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Okay.
Are you
yes.
there?
Okay. Yes. But look. I want you to look at this. Can I show this to you? Yes. This. Oh my God. Right?
Oh, that's so pretty.
Wow.
Look.
Where did you find that at?
Well, check it out. Can you read this? See what I can do.
Almost
I
clear.
may need glasses.
Well, it's. I don't know. I'm just going to say this is the fallen tree whisperer, and you know him well, and he can say something for himself in chat if he wants to. But look at this. And I would be drinking.
That's when it does stuff with the wood or with the ceramic.
With both actually.
Okay.
Sometimes a little bit of both.
He does the bowls, correct?
Yes. Someone we know and love.
Nice.
I know who you are. I know you're.
But I'm sort of like I don't want to ever blow anybody. God, this looks like some sort of weird Wonder Woman ripoff. Don't look down.
Yeah, it does.
Don't look down. Speaking of Don't Look Up, that movie, Don't Look Down. Anyway, I love this. And so it's become part of my wall back there. And I don't know. I have some bourbon here, and I was going to drink some bourbon tonight, but I'm not going to drink it out of that because I don't want to hurt it. Oh, I'm off. I'm always a little off. Then I mean, like, here I am.
No, that's okay. It's your show. You can do what you want tonight. So.
It's my okay. Well, where's Maria? All right.
Oh, we're trying to get Maria. She said she had a party or something. I don't know why. I don't know why she would have a party on tonight.
It's on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, everybody should be.
Actually, you know, I mean,
okay. Be right there, she says. Okay.
Oh, good. All right.
She'll
She
be
knows
here
we're
soon.
wanting her. All right. Okay.
So then, once you get here, then I'm gonna let you three have fun, whatever you wanna. If you wanna.
Wow. Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're gonna
Well,
kick
you know,
Ron out of the
Vanessa.
picture.
Listen, I don't know, Lady V. Do you think he may regret this? Correct?
I know
Oh, yeah.
Amanda
But he'll
had
enjoy it all the way.
Oh, you bet.
Amanda had a fun comment on Mixler earlier today.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
I can't
wasn't
remember
there.
I can't remember what she said, but it was funny. I remember that.
Okay. Well, she is very funny. Yeah.
Said something like, "Well, what could go wrong with that?"
Exactly. What
Yeah.
could possibly go wrong? Yeah,
I
you know.
couldn't get my audio to work, and had some other problems happening here. Just all within.
Yeah, well, I ended up, you know, it was not really what I pictured myself doing, but I ended up having a technical, it was a cord issue, and lo and behold, and so yeah, and a little consultation with my IT son. Doesn't that help? And you know, on the phone, and then boom, boom, and so yeah, and I'm, you know what, this is sort of like,
oh, there's Maria.
Okay, it's
Yeah, that's messing up the whole picture.
no.
There's
Oh my gosh,
Maria.
are you outside?
Hey,
I
Maria.
am outside.
Oh my God.
It is
So now, like,
7 degrees. Oh my God. Yes.
Oh my
I've
God, so-
come to a New Year's Eve party that I accepted the invitation after I forgot it was on Friday night.
Yeah.
So I'm
so, hey,
outside.
It's a party. What can I say? Yeah. Wow. That's really neat. I'm outside, and I can see flickering fire right there, sort of like in front of you. Yes, are you in front of a fire?
It's kind of a cigarette fire, but we're good.
Oh, really?
No,
So, are you kidding?
like
So
it-
that's my imagination. Wow.
Mhm.
It's like you were
I
sitting in
am-
front of a campfire or something. How funny
Oh, I
is
wish.
that? Oh.
It's way too wet. But this is the
See,
house.
now you could be up here. I have a fire already. I just
No.
gotta light it.
Wow.
It's 20 below where you are,
right.
and I'm kind of good.
He's
right
not.
where
He's
I
not
am.
talking. He's not talking about his fireplace, though.
Oh no.
Yeah.
This is true.
Well, it's
We don't need any logs in the fire, Ron. Just saying.
yeah, well, you know, it's sort of around here, except it's been cold and rainy, but it's that joke about, you know, California fireplace fire where you open all the windows so it gets cold enough so you can feel justified.
Exactly.
Have a fire. Okay, yeah, guilty sometimes, but
That
yeah,
is
there's
kinda
nothing.
What kind
Oh.
of strange is here. If I cook inside, I have to have the windows open and let the air out, you know, so that all the smoke goes out, you know. Now the thing
Yep.
is, so if they're having a fireplace next door to me, when of course they're not supposed to be doing it, but anyway, they do anyway. Nobody
Oops.
who follows the rules, you know.
Wow, so you guys have a no live fire in the fireplace
Yeah,
then,
you're
huh?
not supposed to have any fires from a certain time of the year to whatever, you know. And
So it's seasonal. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
and but now they don't enforce it, so nobody really pays attention to it. And there's only one sheriff guy in town, so you know he can't be everywhere. You know, so that's why-
Mayberry.
Oh my God. That
Yeah.
sounds like
Mayberry.
Edmonton County. Seriously.
Yeah.
And-
Oh
and-
wow.
Andy said 2022 is good so far.
Oh good.
So,
Oh, that's very good.
but
I
Oh,
just-
right.
I-
It hit
I'm
him
even there.
first.
I just want to say that here in Claremont, we just got a new police chief after our police chief of, oh my God, I don't know how long she was there, like 20 years or something, retired. And this guy is, I actually have, talked to him on the phone about well, it was noise from what turned out to be the National Hot Rod Association thing over. It's like more than a mile away, like 2 miles, from us. But there was, and I was not the first to complain. And he introduced me to this term non-essential noise, which I had never thought about, but how subjective is that? Because I mean, like to these hot rod guys, I mean, and gals, it was pretty essential. They make that noise, right? So, but anyway, here's where I'm going. This guy's name is Aaron Fate. He is Police Chief Aaron Fate. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be one of my favorite signs I see on the way on my drive, and it says, I always talk about how the the crosswalk sign has a black figure, a yellow or green or whatever sign with a black figure, silhouette, so you can see it. And I get the process of why they use that combination, but then I always think, well, that's a black guy crossing because there's no crosswalk on the pavement. There's no crosswalk there. If it was a white guy, then there would be a crosswalk. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But anyway,
You're so racist.
On the sign, there's a sign right below that says vehicle noise laws enforced. Okay, now remember, this is right next to the golf course where they be partying or whatever.
Oh, right.
And then right next to a park that they have a Dynamite Park sign. Dynamite Park.
That's hilarious.
So it's like, I don't get the concept of having vehicle noise laws enforced right next to Dynamite Park.
Where you can, but why should you be quiet? Yeah, it's like, sign mistakes. Like there was a billboard, and I guess it was taken down pretty quickly, but it was up long enough to make an impact. And I don't want to say what state it was because I could be wrong, and it's not. Well, it's a bad reflection, but it was like they were having an opioid epidemic to the point that they were trying to do a PA campaign, and so it was one of the billboards. Apparently, I vetted this, several years ago, but I vetted it, and I think it is true. And it was the billboard read, "Crack, we're on it." Yes, it did. Oh, yes, it did. And so like failed advertising campaigns. I think you could put that one. Yeah. And then brought to you by the state of NI. Again, I'm not going to, I'm not going to throw mud on any kind of state, especially if I don't know who it is. No. Oh, wow. So, wow. Oh my gosh. So what device are you using right now, Maria? What, it's a phone, or how could it have that great a camera? Where are you? Are you on a laptop?
I am on the tailgate of my truck in the middle of a street.
So this is really a tailgate party.
Exactly.
There you go. Tailgate party. IT tailgate
Carol,
party.
Sweetheart, I keep telling you, you need to come to Kentucky.
Oh,
the
God.
Freedom that you would feel is just unfucking believable.
I just want to tell you, it is something that is
middle of the road.
Yeah, boom. And exactly. I just see, that's the other thing is, I felt from time to time, I should get in touch with these kin of my mom, and the Doty side, the Mayflower side. And speaking of Doty, by the way, I am. Oh, why should I say this? Tron knows this and teases me, but here's the thing. In spite of this, did I get this man on my show? No. And I might have mentioned this before. Yeah, because I think Andy knows this. Okay. My
Andy
cousin
knows everything.
Well, exactly. So maybe I should just not even put that into the. Okay, that's
right.
Yeah. Oh my God! Did you see the video of Andy's trifle? Oh my God! I was drooling most unattractively.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was very pleased with myself that I recognized what it was. So anyway, that's so I hope I got kudos across the pond. But so no. Anyway, my Mayflower, blah blah blah. Rick Doty, the Rick Doty, is my cousin.
Okay.
Dead silent crickets. You know, the Rick Doty, the guy of you know,
Yes.
yeah, that
Yes.
guy.
I know
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
and
Yeah.
my mother's maiden name was Doty, and we're descendants, both of us. This is how it works. And listen, this is no big whoop, because this guy and his descendants had so many children. They reproduced the heck out. And so the deal was, we are 14th. Let's see, my mother's family was 14th, and I don't generation descendant, and I don't know what Rick's was, but of Edward F. Doty, who, you know, I told you this, Maria, I think, the guy who signed himself on as an indentured servant, because it was like, you want to go on this ship, kid, or you want to be hung by the neck until dead? And for
Exactly.
horse thievery. Yeah. And so, but he wasn't a bad guy. He was in love, and he borrowed a horse from a local farmer to ride to see his lady love, and he rode the horse died. Just the punchline. You have
Oh
to
my
be careful
goodness.
with your verbiage, but yeah, the horse died. So that's what happened. And you know, anyway, but that has, but the point is, Rick Doty, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I go back and forth. He and I had some delightful texts, and it was kind of like, wow. And then the following Mother's Day, this was 2 years ago, he sent me this little pink bunny kind of happy Mother's Day thing, and it was like, oh my God, from the Falcon. Yeah, in fact, Tron sent me some stuff this morning, apparently, that his alias in all of this stuff, like, I think is he mentioned in this film where Linda Moulton Howe says something like, stop the interview. Oh, what is that, Maria? Is it the Magic Men? No. Yes.
The Magic Man. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I've got to see that again. I saw it once along, you know, when it was first available.
It has. How many years ago has it been since?
Good Lord, I don't know. And it was in. Am I correct? Was that in major? When we could go to movie houses? Was it okay? And then it was on cable. Yeah, because I saw it on cable. Yeah. But yeah, that's. You know, and he is, strangely enough, you know, he is, and I've thought about reaching out to him, just not because I don't have a platform, etc., except for this, but it's sort of like newswise. But I'm wondering, you know, Rick Doty's last gig was with the New Mexico, what do you call it, film location shooting bureau blah thing. You know, that's not the title, obviously. But yeah, and it's funny, they don't get a lot of business, but no. But before that, he was a highway patrol officer, I think, in New Mexico. Like, what? God, I don't know. There are so many. What do you think about him, Maria? And Vanessa, do you know who this guy is? He's accused of some pretty bad stuff.
Yeah, he really
I
is.
do not, and that's probably a good thing.
It probably could be.
Yeah, and in ufology, it's that he gave that he was sort of that he was involved in the death of, what's the man's name? It's skipping me completely.
I do not remember the name, but I remember
right, and he gave him information, and the deal was then the charges, I guess, in the court of public opinion, were that he gave him disinformation, and the man
right.
I think he killed himself, didn't he? Yeah, bad. But
I was reached out about doing an interview. My opinion of somebody I know personally and hold dear to my heart, doing an interview. And I'm like, no, let's don't do this, because number one, you can't trust a double agent ever. Never. I don't care what type of information they bring to you. You cannot trust this person, and somebody like that, everything they say just needs to be thrown out.
That's the problem, is that it's like it's like when somebody speaking of true life, ripped from today's anyway, no, my own personal little, when you find out somebody is like, oh my God, let's just use this thing because it doesn't really relate at all hat and no cattle, you know that one? Yeah, I love that. And when you find out that somebody is that, wow, I did not see that come. coming. It
Right.
sort of throws you, and you have to back check a lot of stuff. Like, okay, let's see then. Okay, so he told me blah blah blah, such and such. Now, do I really have to research this, or can I take his word on that? You know, that kind
Right.
of stuff. And yeah, it's God. So anyway,
Yeah, you kind of can't
What?
do it. And that's the bad
Can't.
part. They might bring you great information and it might work out to be true.
Yep.
But you have to do that type of research yourself. You can't take what they say for real simply because, I mean, they're
Yeah.
double agents. They're going to tell you whatever they think you're going to tell them after your response to their information. And I cannot trust
Yeah.
anybody like that.
No, the only way I can, it's a big stretch, but if I knew somebody before they had that situation that they were now giving me, okay, if you know, a lifelong relationship, friendship with somebody, right, you might be a little bit
If you
more.
came to me and you said, I've got
Oh, but you,
this
see, never
top
mind.
secret, yeah, I've got this
Okay.
top secret information. It's
Yeah.
been given to me. Here, you've got it. If I'm dead next week, at least I passed it on. You know, it's
Right,
one of those
right.
things. But when you've got a double agent, no. The disinformation in the UFL. I'm thinking
Oh
about
my God,
football
the
and UFO.
the United
Sorry.
Football League. No, I like that. So is it
we kinda
Manchester
need that.
United? Right? Yay, Andy! Right? Did I get that right? Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway, all right. So
that would
Happy
be
New
Andy's
Year.
last
Okay.
comment.
Yeah. Okay. I can't read anything. I'm not in Mixler chat, as you may know. I have a bad
Well,
relationship with
no,
Mixler
I've
chat.
I've got the YouTube stuff, and I had
Oh,
to
you've
put my
got.
glasses on because I'm old and I have to read it.
Hmm.
But anyway,
Gee, I'm not seeing anything. I am just not. I'm without benefit of it, so I'm not
you
ignoring
got to go
anybody.
from
They
private
say,
chat to comments.
I know.
Private chat, I could send you
Private
porno
chat. I can't.
messages,
Okay,
Carol, and you would
comments.
never know.
Comment. Oh my God!
Venus.
I see the
Ah!
comments. I
Yeah,
see the.
there's the
Okay.
comments.
Okay. Now let's see if I can
So the
actually see the
private chat
comments.
is
Okay.
where
Wait.
Vivi and I send sex messages back and forth to each other. But anyway,
Oh yeah, all night
Oh,
long.
you mean sex messages from other people? It's sort of like playing telephone or something. I don't know.
no, it's just between me and Vivi. Just saying.
We share naughty pics.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Venus is kind of light on Mixler chat compared to Brian show, Total Brian.
No, that's
really? Oh, okay. So
oh, I love the shades, Carol. It's so
I know. Well, see,
Those look so good on you
I
too.
love
why,
it.
bless your heart. Actually, I will tell you that these almost had their KGRADB premiere, but shit happened. Okay, so
Exactly.
anyway, I'm not even going to go there because you know what? Like, all right, see that exactly,
Well, anyway,
Maria, exactly. That is
Woo.
my sentiment. So, like, now I'm trying to So
I
I'm seeing
have a
people.
really good
Hello. I'm
idea.
going back to the Bobby Burgess. Oh my God, oofy.
Yeah,
Okay,
Oofy's
Charles. Oh my God,
Oh,
Charles.
Oofy.
And okay. The
Oh,
chalice of
Rockstar.
power.
Hello.
The vessel with the pestle has the brew that is true. That Oofy. That is for you. That is from that wonderful Danny Kaye movie. The Court Jester. Is that it? You know, the pellet with the
Carol.
poisons in the chalice from the palace. The vessel with the pestle has the brew that is true. And that's the first
Your
time I've
knowledge
ever.
drives me crazy.
Well,
You're so
it's
awesome with
no,
this
I'm
stuff.
telling you, it's a genetic defect, and it's going to bring me down. But that was, thank you very much, bourbon, because a sip of it, I've never said all of that together correctly before. So anyway, yes, Charles, that is Neutron's work. Oh my God! And you know what? You should just see the rest of his stuff. It is incredible. And I see, okay, I see the comment, and I see Andy's comment, and okay, Witches of Eastwick. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or am I saying that wrong? I think it's Eastwick. No, Eastwick.
No,
It's not one of like Diane. No, she's Diane Warwick. Never mind, that didn't work. Oh, thank you, Charles. Yeah, their prescription, Rockstar.
Rockstar.
I just want to say that you will stick in my mind forever because I remember the first time I ever saw your moniker, it went something like, every time I addressed you, I would say Rockstar 897
Hey, Rockstar.
and you
91276.
finally said, quit calling me that. Okay. And so we settled on Rockstar. I believe that was our first argument, as far as I know. So like, okay.
Argument.
Rockstar is a good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
definitely.
Oofy,
I keep watching the radar because I'm like waiting for the next rain thing to come in that I have to dash inside.
Oh, that would not be.
Oh,
That would not
wow.
be good.
Okay.
Oh no.
No.
Oh
Wow.
boy.
By the way,
So-
Ron, I just have to, before I mention it, I know this is really totally not, if I don't say it now, I never will. And I want to say, what were you broadcast something the other day, and I was doing something else, and I just took a blink look at it, but I saw this you had like a yellow kitchen.
Yeah, the color of the walls is yellow.
God, oh my God. If you feel any presence in your kitchen, it's me, because I am so drawn to that color.
What?
Oh, yeah, it's
Don't
gorgeous.
be cooking for him. No.
Oh, no.
We do not want to go to his
Oh my
house.
God, maybe we can work something out. No, that's okay. But okay, and all right. No,
Well,
there's a scenario.
I can tell you about the visitors I have. And
Yeah.
actually, I saw one that I thought, because I have the mirror covered up, I was told to cover up the mirror in the hallway. I don't want to remove it because that's not correcting the problem. Okay.
Right.
So covering it up or washing it with holy water or whatever, which I don't have, but covering it up was the first option and the best option, I think, because it caused me to do that, caused me to take that step to cover it up.
Wow.
Now, at the time that I was covering it up, though, I felt kind of bad that I was restricting the movement of the entities that I know are here. Okay. Now they're still here.
So I am okay. Let me see if I can. I want to tell you, by the way, I'm standing on a place on my floor where it creaks sometimes when I move. So if you hear something spooky, it's just my floor.
It's the groove, baby.
Yeah, really get in the good.
You're standing. I thought you were sitting. Anyway.
Oh no, it's the vertical. It's something to do with. I guess I don't know. It's my old stage background or something like that. But anyway, so yeah, no, I work on my feet. Work best.
Right.
But where were we? God,
what happened was I had
I don't know. Ron was talking.
I had
and
some
totally
activity. I had some activity with some spirits in my house, which I still do. But anyway, what's interesting was my friend that was my still is, but I haven't been able to have any sessions lately because of the holidays and everything like that. But or Tanya Medea, anyway.
Yes.
And she had told me, as she did a remote walkthrough, she's a Reiki master, and she walked through my house and she saw the same people that I had seen myself. Now, I never told her who I saw before the walkthrough, and she told me exactly who she was seeing. And then she noticed the energy at that mirror, which it's not an old mirror, it's a newer mirror. And so it's not anything that would be attached to it except the fact that it's a portal, of some sort. And so anyway, she told me to cover it up, or to bless it with holy water or whatever. So I went ahead and I found some old cardboard that I had, from boxes and things like that, and I covered it up. And as I was covering it up, though, I was like, I didn't feel good about covering it up and blocking the the teleport or whatever you want to call it. I didn't feel good about blocking that.
So that's what I wanted to make sure I was getting correct. And by the way, I can't find a place to comment on chat. I was going to comment to Rockstar, but okay. So anyway, but back. So have I got it correct that you intuit, blah, 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 however you suss this out, that the entities are using the mirror as a...
They were, and now they're using something else. I don't know what, someplace in the basement or whatever. I have smelled cherry tobacco. Remember in the 1800s when people would smoke the pipe and it would be the cherry tobacco?
Sure.
Okay. Now, of course, now it's a Swisher Sweet, cigars, whatever, different, different
Many things
clientele.
to smoke, yes.
But anyway, the cherry tobacco from like the 1800s. Genghis Khan is here.
Genghis, hello, and Happy New Year to ya. Yes.
Anyway, so what's interesting is I smelled the smoke. I actually have seen smoke at my couch in the living room here. Just a puff of smoke come out, just
Oh
like
my gosh.
from a cigar,
Yeah.
And it was just like, where did that come from? Why did that show up? Now I don't know what the story is behind it,
Wow.
or why, the message, someone's trying to get me a message or whatever. But the point of the matter is, I see it, and then what was interesting when Tanya did the walkthrough.
Yes.
She did the walkthrough, and she said that she saw the old man who's a
Oh.
pipe smoker, right? She saw the older woman. Actually, she saw two older women, from the 1800s or whatever, So it's tied to the land. It's not necessarily the house, because this house was only built in 1945.
Yes, yeah.
So it's tied to the land, I'm sure. And we have the petroglyphs here, which is a Native American historical monument park. Okay.
There she is. She's back. Hey.
That's here. And so, who knows what kind of energy and activity is here. But the point of the matter is that Tanya found all these characters that I never told her about. And I told her, after she told me about the 10-year-old boy that runs around the house, which I see and hear them running around upstairs all the time. Okay. I hear popping.
Is it the kind of... Do you get the feeling it's like a playful running around, or is it okay? So not running in terror.
No, I've had the boy come up beside me, and I sit in a recliner. I got a wall beside me. I got an open area beside me, and there ain't no way nobody can be beside me and touching me. But I felt someone tap me on my shoulder, on the side of my shoulder, and there ain't nobody there. And I look, and there ain't nobody there. And that happened on both arms, and I had the old man hit me on top of the head, like you numbskull, like that.
Right.
So, and it was like, well, why did I get that? And so, I've had that happen. So, but nothing. I only had one scratch on my arm that I cannot explain, and it's still a scar there, but it's pretty much healed up. All of a sudden, it appeared out of nowhere, and I have. What I think, we talk about the abduction scenarios, and they have talked about the characters with the claw finger, with the
right.
claw.
I think, yeah. It's as opposed to.
And there's like a big.
Okay, but and I think I can't do it. But anyway, I think Calvin Parker talked about.
Yeah. And when they grab you by the arm and pull you up, right? So what happened was, on my arm, I had a gouge on my arm that was like from a shredded blade. Okay. And it was, I don't know how I could have done that with my nail or anything like that, So something, it looked
Papa Tom. Oh my gosh, Papa Tom, Happy New Year's. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, Ron. It's just that it's been a bit, and I'm always just so happy to see him.
Anyways,
I had to tell, he didn't know we're not in chat on Mixler. We're just in chat on YT.
Oh, okay.
And on Facebook. So I told him where to find you, and he come to find you, sweetheart.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh my God, you know what? It's just, this is wonderful. There's so many. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ron.
I was going to say I shared the link with Sean, but he didn't show up.
Well, by golly.
Well, he's here now.
Ah, sweet
Tom. He reached out to me. Just saying. But okay, so Venus, tell me. I want to know.
She's in the dark. I mean, no, but she's not really in the dark. So you have to. Okay, now this is the part where we find out that Vanessa Venus Lady V is not really in the dark. Take it. Hello.
He disappeared.
Oh
yeah.
Giant cat.
You're gonna give me anxiety. I can't do that. I can't do the vid.
You can't. I know, but you know what? You can. Wait a second. I was trying to find some. I had a funny prop here, and Someone has moved my prop.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Oh no.
It wasn't me. I put it back. I promise.
Well, I don't know. You're probably good enough to be able to do that. Well, where is it? Well, I can't find it. Well, then I'm not supposed to. But anyway, it would have worked perfectly with the cat meow. But the moment is we have moved on. So it's like, okay. Yeah. So, well, see that thing about the camera, like to me, radio, that was like, radio. Yeah. No camera worry. Okay. And I guess the thing is, you just have to somehow, I don't know. It's like that over and over till you get it right. Am I right about that, Maria? You just have to do it so much that you don't really have a thing about it.
You've been in
or you
front of the
pretend it's not
camera
there.
on stage, and
I can hardly hear you, Ron.
you have been in front of the camera and on stage.
Hold on. Oh wait, you know what? It's at my end. Hold on. I've slipped my.
No wonder
My cheese has not quite slipped its cracker. My cheese. What does that mean that I've got?
You've been in front of
Is
the
it pepper
camera.
jack cheese?
I hate these. Oh yeah. Oh no, it's that Kentucky bourbon cheese. Oh my God, what's it called? But pepper jack is.
Beer cheese.
Oh, beer cheese. Yes.
Oh,
beer
girl,
cheese.
that beer
Yes.
cheese.
I know. It's
freaking
better.
awesome.
It's almost better than beer. Well, I guess.
Now,
Okay. Now,
it's
see,
supposed
Ron.
to be ladies' night, but you know what?
Ron, you really are in the background, and you were saying something about my deal is like, I don't know. It's real. I share this peculiarity is that no problem with being a character on stage, right?
Okay.
In a show, no problem. Ask CAROLE to stand up there and sing. Oh my God! Please don't make me do that. Yeah. Okay. So it's like I don't know. And of course, the more I worked, the less that was a problem, an issue. But that's why a lot of people hate auditions, because it's kind of like they're just being them doing that
girl
actor singing thing. But yeah, I just did one movie, and oh
my God,
I did the original show.
Holy
listen, right
shit.
before I can listen. Wait a second. I don't mean to overtalk you. I can't hear you. I think are these things.
The one guy that you did the movie with?
Yes. There we go.
Holy shit. Yeah. We'd
Oh, I
all
know.
would have done him. Yeah. Even Ron.
Oh, well, I have to, especially Ron would have worn that dress, that blue dress. Oh, my
Yes,
God.
he would have.
There we go, full circle. And whenever
That
I
would've
see,
been
by the way, I just have to say that you provided, Andy provided some happy memories of something on Saturday Night Live forever ago. When Janet Reno, was a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and she was on, and she wore a blue dress, and she actually danced on Saturday Night Live. I'm sure you can find that clip if you really want to on YouTube.
Yeah.
But so no, blue dress, yes. What is Devil with a Blue Dress? Is that a song? Is that a song? Okay.
Devil with the
So,
blue dress on. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I gained
we
a little
are,
bit of weight.
Papa
since
Tom,
that
thank you
picture,
so
though.
much. Yeah. Yeah, Oh, listen, Betty White. I don't mean
Oh,
to.
yeah.
There is no way in the world that I mean to. I'm not trying to
spot, so I'm gonna mute myself for a little bit, and then I'm gonna get undercover. So
and you can you can cry about Betty White. Okay, but
All
no,
right.
the deal is, yeah, it's just that one of my. I won't do the personal stuff, but it's just that I remembered something today, and I found a link to it, and I think I did actually put it on my Facebook page, that there was a Mary Tyler Moore episode in which Chuckles the Clown had died, and Chuckles was like, this sort of cast member you saw from, because it was a TV station, you had all these characters, and Betty White played Sue Ann Nivens, and she was the I think this would make her laugh. She was the character who was quick, where's the nearest mattress kind of character. And she just had all these love affairs, and but she was wonderful. And there was something, I don't know, there was something wholesome about it because it was Betty White and kind of deal. But this episode with Chuckles the Clown and his death, and so they're at his funeral, and it's one of those things where when you're not supposed to laugh, you just can't hold it in. And Mary Tyler Moore begins to laugh. But I just want to say about Chuckles, I remember his motto somehow. It was a little song, a little dance, a little seltzer down your pants. Yeah, so I just tossed that out there in memory of whoever that actor was. I can't remember. But Betty White. But the rest of that show has Betty White saying, "When I die, I want to be cremated and have my ashes thrown on Robert Redford."
Oh boy.
Oh, yes.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Honey, we all would like to be thrown on Robert Redford. Just saying.
You-
My friend
Genuinely
Mike,
nice guy.
my friend
Nice
Mike
guy.
was, my friend Mike was kidding about this, and he said that Betty White died at 99 because she had the low number for the bet. So she was thinking that she'd win the bet if she died, early before 100, right?
Yes.
Now,
No,
of course,
Yes.
I'm kind of
how does she
thinking.
collect? How does she collect? No, now that's the question. She didn't
I'm
I don't
kinda
know, and I
thinking-
don't think she had children. I know that she was incredibly active with all kinds of pet rescue
Yeah.
and animal stuff, and this was really, really important to her. And my God, Maria, you are up against a wall. This is sort of like it's like are we going to do West Side Story here? Well, no, you are. Look at that.
Can we
You know,
make this?
I could sing some of it. Oh my God! Speaking of
Please.
cultural appropriation, I just want to say that when I was offered by this very small community theater out here in San Bernardino County, when they saw me do something and they said, "We're looking for a Maria," and the guy playing Tony, is like he was a professional
Ooh.
theater, film actor, and so I kind of like, I know Actors Equity is not listening, but I said like, okay, I learned soprano singing by singing to that record, with Marnie Nixon, who did Natalie Wood's voice. So how could I turn down that part, ladies and gentlemen? And so I want to say I'm a white chick who got to play Maria. Oh my God. And what was really neat was the kids in the ensemble, they were like, they went to gang infested high schools. It was really a trip.
They did.
Wow.
They really
It was
did.
really a trip. So yeah,
It's incredible. The things that people do, artists, musicians, actors, whatever you want to call them, the things that they do to research. Yeah, I love you, Carol. The things that they do to research to find out that perfect, how they can do this perfectly. It's incredible the lengths that they go through, and I have to applaud some of them, not all of them.
Yep.
Some of them, it just doesn't work that way. So I
Yeah.
had to turn the computer. Sorry, because the Eve.
Yes.
Actually, I'm
Serena's
probably
on-
going to have to go inside here in just a minute because it's raining just a little bit harder. And
that doesn't mean we lose you altogether, does it? Oh my God. What
I have
does
to
it?
go to a quiet
I can handle
room,
it.
so.
I can handle it.
Well, the noise is okay as long as we're not playing music over the.
No, they're playing music, and we're playing the game Crimes Against Humanity. Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't think I'm ready for that. Listen, I want to just, Crimes Against Humanity. Okay, quick plug for my brother-in-law, Robert J. Perry, who is recently, a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half, retired as Superior Court judge in Los Angeles, who didn't get the OJ trial, and that was a great relief for everybody in the family. However, he has written a book, and I really didn't think, the title of his book is Witness to the Carnage. So Crimes Against Humanity, Maria. Oh my God. I'm just, listen, to hear both those titles in one day, I don't think I can. So this is a video game. It's not a board game, right?
It is a card game, actually.
It is a card game.
You've got to
You
get
have
this
to act
thing.
out stuff, right?
God, I haven't. Yeah, no, I haven't got that yet. But anyway, Cards Against Humanity. It's
Cards Against
Humanity.
Cards.
Each person gets 10 cards. There is one person that draws a card, and that asks. It's kind of like Jeopardy. It gives you a sentence, and you have the answer. And it is as non-PC as you can imagine. So you can answer it however you
I
want.
kind of kicked most of PC in the ass a couple of years ago. I must say, I got out in time.
I've
Okay,
never
all right.
visited that, but
Now kindness is still Venus.
has been very quiet.
A little too quiet, I think.
So look, I want you to see. Oh, there's Charles, but I want you to see.
Hey, Charles.
Charles. Mwah, mwah.
There's kitty.
Oh my
Anyway.
God, kitties.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my God.
really-
Listen, the kitty on your little thumbnail, your little avatar thing, that gray cat.
There it is.
See, I
That's
thought that
my
looked like the
baby.
cat that hangs out here. I got that little gray cat. My
Oh,
I
He
call
is
him
my
my little
baby.
gray visitor. My gray visitor that I
That
have.
oh,
one,
perfect.
that one came to me in 2011, and he like picked me.
Yeah.
And when I'm on the phone with Skype with Charles, he immediately comes across, puts his ass up to the camera.
Oh my God.
Mm.
That's
never
incredible. Oh my
It's a,
God.
it's a
it's-
Listen,
it is a
private
greeting, but you know, I
Yes.
mean, I'm sure this is nuanced, and you really need to know what this means here. I can't, sometime in 2022, this is the year you find out what the heck. Oh my gosh. Okay, look at backing up. First of all, Jesse Peak is in the room, and I don't know if I can scroll. Can I scroll the other way because I want to?
Well, I'm going to
You should be able to
disappear
scroll.
because
You should
I'm
be able to scroll
outside
on.
in the rain, and I
Oh.
will
God,
love you, Carol.
Well,
I love you.
the
Venus.
rain loves you, my dear, and we love
love
you,
all of
Maria,
you.
and have a
What's
wonderful
up?
night and day and all of this stuff. And
Come
oh,
back
I
to me.
forgot.
Little
Before you
curly
go,
hair,
I have to just quickly tell you that I have about a 2.5-inch long praying mantis that has been on the screen door of my garage music studio for 6 days now, out of the rain. I don't know what to do. She
Oh.
seems fine, but I just want to. And today, her oviraptors, you know, those little goody thingies that lay the eggs.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
ovipositors. I mean, ovipositors.
Yeah.
Today, they
Mhm.
kind of moved out from her body, so I think that's what we're talking about. Anyway,
Ah.
Oh my.
so
She is
happy New Year.
wonderful, exactly where she
Incredible.
is.
Mhm.
and
Yeah, yeah,
Send,
that's what I'm
send
hoping.
Tiffany Mac a picture of that.
You know, that's what I'm going to do. I didn't want to bother
Yeah.
her, but now I do.
No,
I
bother
will.
her.
All right.
Send her
Hassle.
that.
All right. A hassle coming toward Tiffany. All right. Good night, honey.
Happy New
Love you
Year,
lots and have a
everybody.
wonderful,
thank you,
wonderful
Hi,
Maria.
day
baby. Happy New
tomorrow.
Year.
Have fun. Mwah.
See ya.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. And
All right.
as
Well,
Papa Tom suggests, 1 minute before midnight, everyone stand on your left leg. Then at midnight, you will start the new year off on the right foot. Hear, hear. So say we all. And Ufi wants to know if this actually works. She says she's asking for CT. Well, she's asking for us all. And he suggests we just try it and see. So I guess, you know, we probably will do that.
is talking to her boss, the cybernetic toaster.
Yes, that's, you know. I wonder what her boss thinks of that old animated film called The Brave Little Toaster. That's really it.
Aw.
Yeah. Do you know that film? Oh my God, it's Neutron. Oh my God.
I had to
Oh, God.
surprise you and add him in there.
Oh, hello. I hear his voice.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Oh my
Happy New
God,
Year.
Happy New
Thank
Year.
you,
This is
Neutron.
such a treat.
And hello, Ron, the host of the
Hello,
show.
Yay.
Here I
Well, I
am.
know
I
you-
find
you
out
don't
all
like-
the prettiest women are on Ron's show tonight.
She showed you your glass from your.
La da 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 da. The goblet. Yes.
That's
The
good,
vessel.
right?
Yes.
And
Oh,
Charles, we've
my
texted so
God.
many times.
Oh my God, there
Happy
you are.
New Year.
Oh, I love this.
Well, see, what I like about the video aspect of it, Carol, is that we can actually share a visual of what we're talking about. You know,
It's empty,
And,
Carol.
Right,
You have to
right.
start drinking.
It's empty. Well, you know what? See, listen, I didn't want to risk. I'm treating myself. It's a funny story about this bottle of bourbon I have, but it's too long. But anyway, it involves synchronicity and my husband Ted, and so cheers. He's watching something else, of course, at the moment. But anyway, so bourbon, and so I wanted to drink the bourbon tonight, and I did not want to risk putting it in this gorgeous thing.
Well,
I didn't want to
hey,
hurt the
cheers.
finish, right? So cheers, everyone.
I'm sipping
Yeah.
white wine.
You are.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And would you care to tell? Does everybody know your general geolocation, Newt?
Canada.
Well, okay, that's
That's
close as
near
you're gonna get,
Toronto.
folks.
Enough said.
It's easy. It's near Toronto.
Yes,
I was
near
gonna say,
Toronto.
That's your
Right.
own know, Canada, right? I'm in the United States. Pretty general.
Yep.
No, I'm
we
on
lost
the- I'm
Maria, I
on the-
guess. She
I'm
left.
on the
as I
postage
came
stamp.
on.
Yes, Maria. You know what? She was at a New Year's Eve party, Newt, and she had to go inside, and it was also a raining kind of thing. I mean, literally raining outside. Yeah. So
Maybe she'll join us again from the inside.
well, she said she'd have to get a quiet room, and so anyway, yeah,
Quiet room.
Papa Tom. By the way, Papa Tom makes a cogent comment down here, and on the chat,
Well,
which
see,
I obviously.
I can have up to 10. If you want more people, I can add people that you know here in chat. I can add them if you want, up to 10. So it's up to you, Carol.
No, Vanessa, you too. But I'm telling you, wow, because like, see, how do I look? I mean, I'm the person who wants to have like everybody here, and
unfortunately, it only lets you have 10 people on the one.
Well,
call.
I just have the feeling that we wouldn't have to. I don't know. This is actually, I'm assuming an awful lot, but I'm thinking that pretty much like, okay, right off the top, I think we could probably twist Jesse Peak's arm. What do you think?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Come on, Jesse.
Let me see if I can find him on Skype here. Hold on. I know I have him on Skype. I know I do. Half the things that I'm learning about this crap, I'm trying to relearn it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, do I ever? And then, of course, you'll get it down pat, and it will change because that's what it does. And also, I'm thinking like, okay, Jesse says he can, but he doesn't have video. There's Neutron. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you don't need video.
He's gonna be chilling in the blackout with me.
Oh, he just showed up for a second, huh? And then he left.
Was there a flash?
No.
And Jesse, you don't need a video.
Are you a flasher? Oh my God! See, that's the bourbon talking.
Just your voice.
Do it again. I missed it.
You just got to catch it on the flip.
I'm a low-key Vanessa guy. This is actually my first public appearance to do, I guess, talking with you guys.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time.
I just want to, and I am going to back off and be quiet if I can, and I can. Sure, I can. Of course I can. Because I'm telling you, I am so absolutely blown away by. It's not okay. Neutron and I have, in fact, once I think we talked for like 3 hours video.
I think it was more like 5.
Was it okay? But it was one of. I'm not kidding you guys. It was missing time. It was pretty astonishing, and he and I go way back to Inception Radio Network chat. Yeah,
over 10 years ago, I think.
I think that I came in there right before the 2012 stuff was supposed to happen. So and I started broadcasting for them in 2014. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Sean, up in your area, have you had very much activity with UFO sightings?
Oh,
there's lots of reports. We had a recent one actually across the river from where I live. I didn't see anything at that time. It was about a month ago. Okay. Rutowski's got involved in the case. The video was sent. It was quite a clear video of these lights. Now, from what I saw on the report, and I was surprised to hear it was just across the river on the U.S. Broadcast. It looked to me like lights that were coming down very slowly. Like it wasn't like parachute flares. I couldn't see any smoke reflection from the flares that you would see normally.
Do you have a count, a number?
I saw 2 on the video. Now, what happened is you hear the woman on the video. She's all excited, saying, "Oh my God, it's UFOs." And the husband is the opposite tone. He's saying, get in the house now. You can tell he knows something she doesn't know.
Whoa.
He doesn't want her to get involved. And it was pitch dark. It was just supper time. So it's, winter here. It gets darker. So I would say around 6:30. And the angle that she was looking at was pretty much facing where I lived on our side of the river. So it was either above the river or over our neighborhood from what I could see on the video in the dark with some of the tree line.
How long after the event, I'm just going to walk all over you. How long after the event did you find the video?
Oh, it was within, I think it was just a day.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
did you do that thing? Did you watch the sky? How did you?
I saw the
Did that motivate
video
you?
and I
Did you
looked at
go
the
out and look more
details.
often or
No, I
after?
mean, it's there's
Okay.
nothing there now. I mean, of course, I go out
Well,
every
no, no,
day
no,
and
no,
every
no.
night and I'll look
Yeah.
and see what's happening out of remembering this event for sure.
But
But
you're pretty much like, sure, this wasn't
well,
a radio tower. This is nothing that's affixed and permanent and is there all the time.
well, just at the end of the video, there was loud jets going by, scrambling jets, and they couldn't see anything. It was very loud. So I know for a fact my neighbors work for the NAVCAN agency, government agency for flights. Everything's recorded. I had them check because the military made an official request to do low flying exercises this summer and fall. And I asked him if they were continuing. He believed it was still ongoing. And I asked, was there any recorded flights, which they do record what they're doing with the exercises that night. And it was November 20th, I believe it was. And it was a Saturday. And there was no record with NAVCAN on exercises. So if I believe there were jets from the sounds, what was described, why they're not recorded when everything else has been recorded since the summer with their exercises, I don't understand that part. And I've been meaning to communicate with Rutowski on that.
Yeah, because that's a pretty heavy thing. That wouldn't, how many on the ground and how many in the air people would you say that involved who there would be a record of where they, yes, no, enlisted are they? And would there be, who's tracking what they're doing with their time? I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, other neighbors, whether they heard, there was no mention of that. No follow up on it.
No. I mean, if okay, but obviously, since that agency denies that there were any flights, that's an end of story for that part. Because I was thinking.
Well, my philosophy on the matter is if they've been reporting their exercises all summer and fall, and possibly winter, from what I hear. If that one was not recorded and they were flying, they don't want it on record.
Yeah,
so there could have been something there. It's, no smoke on the lights, and no report from the military exercises exactly on that date.
So not flares, probably.
That makes me
flares.
suspicious. Chris says he believes possibly it could be parachute flares, but he wasn't sure from his analysis.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, so, right, exactly. And what I don't even know. Once upon a time, I thought I knew what went into somebody's. Okay, like you don't want to say stuff that just like we just had this. We just had this with the NASA enlists 24 theologians to study the effects of what it would be like if humans were introduced to the fact that, yes, there is life on other. Okay, right. And you guys, okay. And so like, oh, wow. And it is not a surprise to me at all that there are people who just kind of like, oh my God, I knew this was going to be this. And yet, I don't know. It's one of those times when I read that and I sort of thought, this is one of those days I'm glad I'm not doing the news, because how would I vet that?
Well, I don't know. I can show you. I would have to look them up. I can show you verses in the King James
Sure.
Bible.
Exactly. But that's not, Ron, what this was an assertion was that NASA was working with people to try to figure out. And that has turned out to be absolute not the truth. And AP, in fact, to the point where okay, so you may have a different opinion on that, Neutron. What do you that you think maybe this is like a
no, it's not a different opinion at all.
Okay, good.
See why they haven't hired Diana Pasulka.
That's right. That's what you and I were texting about. Yes. Diana Walsh Pasulka.
She teaches that how religions have changed cultures in history, and she wrote books on it, and she'd be the perfect person. But if it's a step closer to what they don't want us to know, they won't allow it.
But in this case,
My belief.
apparently this was kind of like a story with their, I mean, it's not the true poop, shall we say.
It's
Phony poop.
politics
Phony.
being played, and you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
I thought on this level of StreamYard that we could have avatars if people didn't want to be on the camera. Can't we have like a avatar character? I don't know how to do it.
I did not see the option for that because I was actually just going to post a picture up.
Okay.
Oh, Oofy. Oofy. Oh, okay, Oofy. I'm sorry. I just got to throw this in. NASA did, says Oofy, hire the theologians, but that was many years ago. It's old news and brought back for the click factor. Hey, yeah.
Deanne Pasuka, by the way, who specializes in this exact topic. Her last book, American Cosmo, or oh my God, I read
was it?
It's a great book.
Yeah, see, she is another. She's a friend of a friend. I'm Facebook friends with her, and we've had just a tiny bit of back and forth through Dean Merchant, and what is the title?
The general gist of the book is she gets in contact with several scientists who had experiences, and then put in their scientific analysis to figure out what was going on.
Like, isn't that the way to do it?
Do not want to release their data findings because they don't want to lose their jobs, funding. And she went off on a road trip with two of them. This is what the book is about. That, you know, she gives them different names.
Wow.
And how they went through things, and they pursued, and they found metals at a location that was prescribed, and found stuff in this book and that. Interesting book.
She's got two titles, American Cosmic and Heaven
American
Can
Cosmic,
Wait. Yeah, Heaven Can Wait, which, oh my God, how many times has that title been used? But let's see. In fact, there's a review. It's like Pasulka's book is nothing short of spectacular and intriguing, a mind-blowing read with fascinating insight, blah, blah, blah. Her research and knowledge present a whole new, she's apparently quite groundbreaking. And yeah. So,
I've heard a couple of her interviews, and she's quite good.
So Jesse, speak to us of MUFON.
Hello and Happy New Year's Eve.
Hello and Happy New Year to you. and weave in here. I'm going to weave in Neutron, who has had some, but we're not going to talk about those tonight. Probably some fascinating experiences. And if you want to know something about this stuff, like he's a go-to consult guy, especially for Canada. And I'm not going to, talk about all his CV, which is striking and staggering. But so Jesse meet Neutron. Neutron meet Jesse. In case. And
hello, Jesse. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's Eve. How you doing?
They sound the same almost. How do you like that? So I got a question for each of you now. I believe in this. I use a term called eternal existence. Okay, and I believe that we are programmed to do what we do from the very beginning of our creation time, which in my viewpoint, in my opinion, now you don't have to agree with me or accept it or whatever, it's your choice. In my opinion, I believe that we were created slightly about the same time as the angels, what we'd call angels. Okay? Now, what's interesting is that some say that angels had a free will. I don't think they did. I think they're locked into what they had for their job. Human souls were the only entities that had a free will, so to speak. Okay?
Okay.
Now, why we ended up on Earth, I have no idea. But we found up on Earth. It could be a science thing or whatever. Could be an experiment that somebody was just thinking, well, let's see if they make it, and here we are. We're still here. But the point is, from the time of creation, we've been programmed to do certain things. Okay? You've been programmed to share the news. You've been programmed to share stories. You've been programmed to act. You've been programmed to do whatever, whatever your passion is. And we have been programmed to do that, whether we want to believe that or not. Okay. Now, whether or not we're getting the right message out, that's a whole nother situation.
So I got to interrupt you because a couple of things come to my mind when I think about being programmed. The first thing is like no. Okay, but all right. Are we talking about like Madison Avenue programming? Commercial TV programming? Hallmark that tells you that being in love is the most important thing in the world, blah, 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 to sell cards. Are we talking about that? Or are we talking about some other kind of more esoteric programming? Something that Neutron could have all the words in the world to explain.
I'm talking about a hardwired or base platform programming. So, for instance, let's take a look at go way back to the beginning of Adam and Eve, way back then. Okay. Now, what's interesting about this story is that we noticed that Adam and Eve. Well, Adam was created first, right? According to the story. All right. And then
but yeah,
they don't talk about
according to the story.
They don't talk about Lilith very much because there's not enough information about her. But there is this suspicion that there was more than one wife, not just Eve. Okay. So, but anyway, what's interesting is that Adam knows how to farm. How does he know how to farm? He's never been a farmer before in his life. Okay. When God created Adam, he formed him out of the dirt. Then he breathed the breath of life into him and he became a living soul. And his name was Adam. Now, here's my suspicion here. All right. I think of this in this way, that our eternal souls, our spirits, are in a vault someplace in heaven where God, the commander, the big guy, whatever you want to call him, he has control of this vault. And when he wants somebody to become alive in the human form, he gets that soul and puts it into the body. Okay? Remember now, he breathed the breath of life into Adam and he became a living soul. Okay? Now, Adam was Adam before he was a human Adam. I can guarantee that. Now, how can I guarantee that? Because ourselves here have had understandings about things that we don't understand. Okay, we have had. See, Charles, as I'm
I understand.
we have experienced things and have seen things and have even figured out things that we couldn't even know. Okay. Now the point of the matter is that we are programmed to know some things. Why we're supposed to know them or what we're supposed to do with them, half the time we don't know or we don't remember because our mental capacity has been changed or switched out or whatever.
Or we just plain don't listen.
Yeah.
You're asking the right questions, Ron.
Yeah. So the
Neutron,
is,
you got. Oh, sorry.
We're in. Neutron does his craft work with the wood. And
but he does so much more than that.
Right. But I'm just saying.
Okay. All right.
Just some of the stuff that I've seen him do. He does that, and he has a passion for it. He knows how to make that happen. He creates something from a piece of wood that you think, oh, it's just a piece of wood, and all of a sudden, bam, there's a beautiful glass, or there's a beautiful bowl, or whatever he's doing. I don't have the first clue about that. Although I might. I might.
They call it art, Ron.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm not artistic.
Why I say that is not to be sarcastic.
I'm a
It's
scribbler.
actually to say that you're questioning about the soul with the conscience interaction here.
Yes.
As we live here. And the art is the translation of the language of the soul being translated by the conscience.
Good point.
Music, paintings, any form of art expression. It's a form of translation of the soul through the conscience, expressed on the conscious level.
I like that. Good point.
That's art.
John.
That's my definition of art.
Good point. So would you agree with me though that we are all kind of programmed in a certain way that we don't even know. We don't even know why.
My God, your questions are like 5 hours of answers.
Yes.
It's first of all, you mentioned what about when did we learn how to grow our own crops? According to the writings, when we were made in the Anunnaki times, we were not shown how to sow wheat and barley, and that only happened after the flood, when the Anunnaki realized that those that survived and they wanted to still control things. We had to learn how to do it ourselves. However, the religions edited the Sumerian text, which was translated at one point to the created religion that the Hebrews wrote, and became monotheism with one God as opposed to the multiple gods called the Elohim, which means many gods.
Yeah.
And how can I say it? I've lost track here what I was saying. I get into details. After a couple of wine glasses, too.
Yeah, right. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year. So basically, we were shown after the flood how to sow wheat and barley, but the Sumerian text has a completion of that, and it says we were taught to sow wheat and barley and make beer and hemp to get high, to pacify us, because at 10,800 BC, when the flood came, it was now Yahweh, Enlil's, Allah's turn to rule under the 2160-year cycles. And that was to pacify, because he introduced for the first time to the humans who never faced it, was slavery, currency, and hierarchy rules. And they were beginning to revolt. And according to the writings, Yahweh says, well, show them how to, sow wheat and barley, feed themselves, and get drunk. I mean, scientists were wondering how the hell did the Egyptians know how to make beer, and now they're realizing it was even before Egyptian science, and they still don't know. Well, it's written in those texts, and it was to pacify the humans. And then he ordered for the people to be divided in languages. So it was 5 languages and 11 religions, in order to divide the people, so they would be too busy not understanding themselves and fighting each other and fighting his ways, which, by the way, I believe we still live under today.
Yeah, you think?
Interesting. See, now we can have a whole show with just you and Carol talking about
Oh my God, no! I would, but I might listen after all this time, because I have been paying attention. And Neutron's been trying to. I think you've been trying to educate me in this for a long time, subtly and with really the perfect amount of increments. But I'm starting to really get it. But yeah, no, it is profound in its antiquity. That is what the whole Anunnaki thing. I mean, and am I correct that really exponentially you could take this all the way to Oak Island? So say some.
Well, I mean, history continues on with different things, and I don't know if it's directly related with the going on, of what's happened and what's been hidden to humanity from the past to today, when it comes to the Anunnaki, or I guess you can say the Genesis 6 conspiracy. One of the biggest books I read was a thesis by Gary Wayne, a Canadian, and he's got 30 years of theosophy, I guess, and studies.
Yeah, and isn't that weird how he's a comic? That is just amazing.
He took 13 years for Gary Wayne to write this book, this thesis. It sadly didn't come with any indexes. He didn't have the money. I spoke to him. He didn't have any money to get somebody to do an index. And the chapters are named where you can't really go back and find things. So I had to create about over 3,000 footnotes. I have an easy reference to go back and find things in it. But that is an excellent work. It took me almost 2 years to read it, because there's over 100 pages of cross-references, because it's a thesis. And you'd read something that shocks you, and then you go to cross-references and you start reading other books on the matter, because it's just unbelievable. But I told Gary this. I says, your thesis was put to the test accidentally in my life. When he mentioned names, he mentions the names of the bloodlines from the early Anunnaki. Now, the names in Sumer of Enlil, Enki are not names, they're titles. But names soon evolve. And you got Baal and Adonai and so on. And in his thesis, he mentions that the Baal family, which is the Yahweh Enlil family bloodline, who changed their names, ended up in Sardinia, and were quite had a bad history of dealing with people, the way they treated people, and so Alexander the Great finally came true and ordered the Baal family to change their names, and it was found that the Baal family changed their names to Adonai. And I go, my God, there's the writings of Adonai. And then Adoni later on, I go, Adoni, my God, my cousin married into Adoni.
Oh,
So
my
I
God.
invite my cousin and her
Listen,
husband.
we all have our
to
cousins,
dinner.
don't we?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got Dodie and okay.
Yeah.
Is that Baal, by the way? Is that Baal with a double A?
Yes, double A.
Okay, thank you.
Occultic,
Okay.
demonic.
Right, okay.
I mean, that's the history goes way back. So I invited him for dinner, and I didn't want to tell him what I found to offend him in any way. And I asked her husband, I said, who was born in Corsica, which is just on the other side of the
This is your
Strait of
kin, right?
Sardinia.
Who's got the
Yeah,
this
my
is your
cousin's
kin.
husband.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And I said, you were born there. I said, did anybody ever talk to you about the giants in Sardinia? And his face dropped. He goes, wow. He says, nobody has ever talked about the giants in Sardinia except for my great-grandmother who used to tell me the stories. How do you know of that? And I said to him, did your great-grandmother ever told you that your family name came from another family name and it was a family name change? He goes, no, I never heard that. But he says, my great-grandfather was 7'4", and he was fighting the giants in Sardinia from Corsica.
Wow.
So they fought within themselves. We know that. I mean, they're very the bloodline, the eagle, bull bloodline was a very warring faction even within themselves. Forget fighting the dragons and snake bloodline. But,
well, I know Ron is going, oh my God, giants, right? Because that's a favorite topic of yours. Yes, right. So there we go with another aspect of giants. Wow.
Now, the history from what I've read was the group that arrived were very advanced. There's no magic hocus pocus here. It's stuff that you don't understand that makes it look like they're gods. But like us, as above, so below is my foundation for analyzing a lot of this stuff. It's so true.
Right.
We're striving to be like them, to be living forever. And it was said, they would live 980,000 years, at Enlil and so on. And they probably had technology for replacing their bodies with cloning and transferring conscience. I mean, that's the scientific way of doing it, which they're doing today, by the way, transferring conscience and storing it. It's announced everywhere.
I don't want to be transferred or stored anywhere. When I'm dead, I want to be moving on to the next level, especially if it's under this current...
That's where you get into... That's where you get into the philosophy of when I die, do I get cremated or get buried? And I believe that two philosophies are based on, in case we need the DNA, let's just bury or mummify. And the other philosophy is, no, I'm not going to let them use my DNA. And I want to be purified with the alchemical fire and bring me back to the salt, and ashes.
I don't know. I just think about the Bible verse that talks about the fire of Moloch. Remember that one?
Moloch, the famous character
that's sending the children or the virgin into the fire.
Moloch is Baal, by the way. I found out. Moloch, the owl that's I guess adored at the
oh my God, Bohemian Grove
event in the U.S.
Bohemian Grove, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yes, where they write down all their foul deeds, allegedly, purportedly, and throw them into some sort of basket, and they say they are burned at the feet of this owl, Moloch, the burning away of the dull cares or something. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, Jeez, I'm sorry, but the other day I was thinking about what happened to Bohemian Grove. Did they get together with COVID, going on? I went through my head. I have no idea.
Here's an interesting story about that event is I rescued a boat on the river one day, and it was somebody living about, I'd say 2 kilometers down the river.
Wow. Now this is the Ottawa River, right?
Yeah, and he invited me over for a beer after tying up his boat on the dock, and met his wife. A beautiful house on the waterfront, and older than me and very wise. And we started talking, and I don't know how the conversation got, but it hit the conversation of Bohemian Grove. And I says, yes, you got to wonder about that with the ritual they do every year.
Yeah.
It's, the ritual of killing something, whether they don't do it for real, but it's a ritual exercise that's repeated.
Mm-hmm.
And he totally changed character and attitude and said, I have a friend that goes there every year. And the way he said, I sort of said right away, you mean you? He says, it's not a ritual, it's a theater play. And I didn't want to argue. I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
commenting for a friend, right?
if
Yeah.
it's a theater
Okay.
play, great, but if it's done
Oh
every
my
year and
God.
every year, it's a ritual. But he was very defensive, defending his friend, and it changed the whole tone. And it ended the social beer hour. Put it that way, a little shorter than usual.
Wrap it up. Yeah.
Now,
There's a hilarious film called Teddy Bear's Picnic. If you can get your hands on it. I saw it once and then it went away. But I
now, see, this is where with the StreamYard option here, if you had the picture of that book, even a website, you can share it here.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that is a great aspect. I didn't think of it because it's one of these deals triggered by the conversation kind of thing. But,
yeah, go ahead.
Teddy Bear's Picnic is this, unlike what the title implies, it is, and George Wendt from Cheers is in it. He's just hilarious. And it's a bunch of guys, and they sort of like, I think what they're doing is they're trying to get into Bohemian Grove. They're trying to see what's going on here. And yeah, so it's funny. A lot of cameos.
So here's a good question for you guys. You have a little bit of time to consider this by the time midnight occurs here, and midnight might occur in somewhere else in Charles time a little bit earlier. But anyway, for my time, it'll be an hour and 20 minutes yet. But anyway, what do you think has been the positive of 2021? I came up with an idea of a car design, for instance. I shared this on a Facebook chat or something like that. My car design would not have any rear view mirrors. So I wouldn't see 2021 anymore. Yeah, I'd just keep looking for
Not even in your rear view, Ron.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you know, in reality though, I believe
positive side.
a positive thing for 2021 is that we became more connected as a community in this platform here, for instance.
Yeah.
In the streaming radio stations or whatever, you know,
Yes.
connecting with people, which we might not have done if we were not forced to stay at home or whatever. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, I think in that way, 2021 was positive. Now I know there was a lot of sadness, a lot of people had illnesses, whatever, you know, whatever the situation was, you know, couldn't
A
see
lot
their
of
parents.
people died. They just plain out died.
But for those of us who are here, what do you think? Do you think that this is a positive that we can connect on a more on a greater platform where we can actually have the bandwidth to connect? And
I learned from my upbringing. I was raised pretty much on welfare. That when times get tough, that's when you learn to appreciate things.
Yeah, that's true.
And the sad part, however, on that coin is, I think there's a generation that has learned to appreciate things about being with people and communicating and how good it was. But we also have a generation that was raised on computer games and video and stuff. And to them, it just amplified that way of socializing and living, which, by the way, my definition of social media, you can call it 5G, you can call it what you want, but it's two-dimensional communication. They don't make alphabets with emotions.
Right.
And so many misunderstandings are created from that on a social as well as a professional level on this 2D. And we're adapting to a 2D communication format in the 3D world as we try to evolve to 4D.
Ooh. Oh my God. Oh my God. So like do that math. Oh my God.
Jesse, you're with MUFON, am I correct?
Yep, you got it.
I have a question of interest I've always wondered.
Sure.
Is And I wonder if anybody in MUFON has this thinking or wonder. What I find is that although America is still focused on what are UFOs, it's been many years now. I think that it's great, and we still have to pursue because there's so many answers to be had. However, we're locked into that, and we're equivalent to an entity coming in and looking at us for the first time and seeing what's called clean highways with cars and not knowing what cars are, and spending 75 years trying to figure out what the cars are, as opposed to evolving and saying, well, what's inside and what are they doing here? I think we're still stuck and focused on that aspect of what is the UFO, as opposed to what exactly have they been doing here and hiding. That's made actually the government be quiet about it on top of it. But is anybody else thinking that way in MUFON while doing the study of reports and crafts and sightings and so on?
No. I mean, there's a bunch of different stuff. I mean, I'm part of the SCU too. I think that's where more of the critical thinking comes in. But yeah, they're doing tons of different research projects on who's behind it. I'm sorry, I had people over. So if you hear them in the background, I apologize.
All right, no problem.
But yeah, I mean, the SCU is looking into that kind of stuff. Who's behind, who's driving the things now, instead of just saying, oh, we're seeing UFOs. Who are the entities? I mean, there's tons of different research projects the SCU has taken hold of and are really looking into that the different aspect of the UFO phenomenon. So yeah.
Are they reporting their findings on anywhere?
The SCU?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can go on to explorescu.org, and they have a bunch of different research papers. I know they're working on a lot of new stuff right now as we speak. I've been receiving a lot of different emails of different research projects they're doing. They're looking for help. So I know a lot of new stuff will be coming out in 2022.
I have to ask you, in my ignorance, Jesse, what does SCU stand for?
The Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies.
Oh, I love it. That really has it has a nice rhythm and you can dance to it. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Listen, that's fantastic. I did not know about those guys and gals.
Yeah, they're more.
How old are you?
MUFON does the investigation aspect of
Right.
everything.
Right.
And we have the ERT where we work with experiencers. And then also the SCU does more of the scientific aspect of everything.
Got it.
In
Fantastic.
a sense. Yeah.
Interesting. I'll check that out. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely do it, because they've had all their papers published in magazines, different places, and they're really, really intelligent people behind it. So definitely check it out.
All right. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Go ahead, Carol.
I don't know. I was just going to say that I was going to offer Ufi if she wants to join. I don't know. What do you think? Does
She
Ufi
can
want
if
to?
she wants.
Hoofy. I've always wondered about Hoofy.
Yeah,
with
because
her and
well, I know I've heard her because I've heard of I've heard some ads and stuff, but
Hoofy represents one of the
live
smartest
back and
creatures in the
forth.
ocean there is.
What can I say? So anyway, just putting it out there. But yeah. So where do? Okay, I was just going to ask Jesse where he falls in terms of just this silly preference, UFO, UAP.
What do you mean exactly?
Which which do you prefer? Do you think there is any significance in using one set of letters over another?
No, I do not. I just think that's a different way for the government to hide what they do when it comes to FOIA requests.
Okay, great.
It's just a different way to hide stuff for the regular citizens of America to be able to not be able to get information from the government.
And speaking of FOIA requests, it looks like John Greenwald had a little bit of a win today. Or at least I read of it today. I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, regarding his FOIA requests and so Newt and I were talking about that earlier. It's kind of like it's a long ride, and I just always remember this thing whenever whenever John Greenwald makes a big success thing. I remember somewhere reading that the guy has been doing this since he was in high school, and his father worked for an aerospace company, I believe, that would have government contracts. So he had to make sure that all of his FOIA requests said John Greenwald Jr. to make sure these dudes didn't think he was, that was his dad who wanted.
They got confused in the beginning, thinking
right.
it was his dad. Right.
That's right. And that,
Lorraine
would
is
add a
here.
whole.
Lorraine from Canada is here.
Yay! Oh my gosh,
Lorraine.
Lorraine! Oh my gosh! Listen, this is the same Lorraine back from Inception Radio Network. Yes,
Another
I
Canadian.
I think so. Yeah. I'm
yes.
not
Alice
sure.
in Winterland. Yes, right. I love that. That is the greatest moniker. Oh my God. Yeah, that is terrific. And yeah.
So a lot of people are popping in here because they see your name, so they're saying, "Oh."
No, are you kidding? I wish. Oh, anyway, look, Oofy says thank you, but oh, that's right. I forgot. There are no vocal cords. And yeah, okay, and CT's synth voice is lacking.
Come on, Oofy.
Yeah, no, a synthetic voice would have been neat, but hey, we can't have everything. So, Lorraine, there is a microphone waiting for you. Yes, no, maybe. Alice in Winterland.
Do I have her on Skype?
Oh, I don't know. Now that's another question. But I know I had her on Skype once upon a time, a long time ago.
Well, I'm going to let you guys have a good night.
Oh, Jesse, you're leaving. All right. Well, and Happy New Year to you.
Yes, Happy New Year to you all, and I will be seeing you all soon.
Nice to meet you.
And it was
nice to meet you as well. I'll see you guys next Friday.
Fun hanging out.
Yes.
We'll see you.
Have a good one.
Thank you, Jesse.
Bye. Now, next Friday. Now, Carol. Now we're gonna have Alan B. Smith on for our guest next Friday, and I would like you to help us with that.
Gee, that name sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah, Alan. Oh, yeah, that'd be terrific. That'd be fun.
I'd be honored to help us with that. And Jesse is gonna be on a little bit after we get started, and then he usually comes on and gives us an update for the UFO reports and things like that. So that's pretty interesting how he does that, and he always has something new to talk about it every week when he's on. With the holidays, he's been kind of busy, so he hasn't been able to get on because he has family and everything like that. And he is busy. He took over the website that he's working on for the one project that he's working on, and some other things that he's doing. Now Jesse is in January start sending me the podcast that he has. He has the old archives from his show.
Oh, that's
cool. 30 some podcasts that he had interviews with that he has full control on, what he can do with them, and so we don't have to ask permission for that or nothing like that.
Ooh,
but
lovely.
He's gonna share that with me, and we're gonna play that. I'm gonna pick a day, and we're just gonna play it whenever I can plug it in. And I was gonna suggest to you, Carol, if you have anything that you have available that you can share, that nobody's gonna be crying about if you share it or whatever,
Right. Yeah. Well, I will probably be talking to somebody in this next, week or two, and I'll find out about that for sure.
And I don't mean any disrespect by that comment. I just mean that, I don't want to upset anybody or offend anybody in any way. I want to make this, like I said, I believe in a community, completely. And I got into trouble already once because we didn't go through the proper channels. We did something, and we got yelled at,
Oh no!
But I learned my lesson though, and so I want to be respectful with that, and so I don't want to twist anybody's arm or cause any waves or anything like that. But at the same time, I want that opportunity for you to be available if you want to expand your some of your stories and some of your listeners.
Listen, there were some fascinating people I got a chance to talk to, so it would be neat to be able to share that. That's for sure.
And I just think it'd be fun to have some of that audio that you had been able to interview some incredible people and the stories that you've been able to tell. And it doesn't matter how old they are because it's
right.
Basically, it lasts,
exactly.
It's timeless, so to speak. When you're talking about certain subjects, it's just there's no ending, in the storyline. So
Mm.
that's what I would like to suggest to you. If you can come up with something on that, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah. I'm looking at working on it.
And so
In fact, I am working on it, but again, once again, it's like when you're talking about trying to get back and forth with people who have incredible schedules that are just so overloaded, right? And so that is sometimes, it's a slow ride.
Yeah, but yeah. So I'm my door's open to anyone that's interested in promoting the aspect of UFO research or ghost research. It don't matter what it is, whatever it is you're involved in. Share what you know. And the point is, with Earth Radio, is we're about expanding our awareness. Okay, and that doesn't mean that we know all the answers. I don't mean that at all. What I mean is that if we bring something to your awareness and you go and do the research and you find out what's going on with that story, and hopefully you can figure it out and get the right answer, what you need. But I look at it also this way, that if we don't say something about whatever it is we're talking about, then we're not doing the topic any justice at all. We're leaving it open and leaving it unattended, and somebody could be missing a message that they need to know. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So that's my thought on the whole thing about
Missing a message. Yeah, exactly.
Can anybody refresh my memory? Who recently? I shared this with probably Carol. I'd have to go back.
Okay, I'll try.
Maybe you'll remember who. But somebody who's a UFO researcher that's respected admitted that when they first saw Elizondo on video with the TTSA, he realized it was the man in black that harassed them to keep quiet. After
Right. Who was that? You mentioned that to me. Who was that? I mean, like, hold on. I wonder.
Well,
oh my God.
Elizondo,
Do you remember when
think
that
he
was? I
did
could
say
go back
he was
through
a
our
man in black.
chat.
He admitted it.
I could go back through our chat. Do you remember when that
He did
was?
admit it himself. So.
When was that?
I don't know.
Neutron, do you remember when?
It's probably a while. I would say maybe a month.
Oh, that long?
2
Oh my
months
God!
ago.
Okay,
Yeah, I know.
No, I just can't.
I can't remember who it was
Okay.
that admitted. I saw the video, the interview.
Yeah. Well, that's
my
pretty
God,
staggering,
it's a small
isn't
world.
it?
But,
Yeah.
Elizondo admitted it on several interviews. He was also a man in black for the government. Their job was to misdirect us, and the question you have to ask is, why do they have to do that so much? At Richard Doty's time, no internet, and they had 200 of them, same positions doing what he was doing, and now with the internet, it's bigger. It's
why would anyone want to believe that he's changed jobs?
Oh,
there's no
God
information.
Almighty.
There's no information.
He doesn't have a choice.
Yes. He's still doing the same job.
He doesn't have a choice. When you
same
retire,
title, but
you can get called on, or you lose your pension.
Yes, I'm sure he's happy in his retirement.
He was not unionized. That's what it boils down to.
Right now, and
his benefits are not necessarily vetted.
No, the strings are not
cut.
Correct.
They require upkeep.
That is correct, and so and
they have no choice.
I will just tell you that Neutron certainly knows whereof he speaks.
Well,
regarding
not
unionization,
everything I try, for God's sake, man. There's cars that goes along with it.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Well, Neutron, if you ever want to be a guest on this show on Friday night, we're here every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Thank you.
And you're always welcome as a guest if you want to participate. And just let me know or let Carol know, and we'll figure it out. And,
yeah, this is so cool to actually talk to you. This is great.
Oh yeah.
Back to your questions, Ron, that you asked, and there was a whole bunch of questions there. Like, but you obviously believe in the soul, do you?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't pretend to understand what it is because I don't understand the connection.
Let's just say this: everything that man has discovered, we don't invent anything or create anything. We discover, really, to be honest. Everything we've discovered, we've also abused. So the longer we don't scientifically discover the soul, the better it is for our souls. That I can say with humans. I cannot say the same thing about advanced entities that probably know more than us on this matter and are taking advantage of the situation. So the soul, my analogy of the soul is this, and I'm scientific kind of guy. As above, so below. So the same rules are reflected in that matter at a different level. So I believe your conscience is an alternating current living in an alternating current frequency-based world. When I say alternating current, that Tesla discovered, it's energy that has a positive and a negative cycle, creating a frequency that creates light, heat, everything we live here. And we live on cycles. And that's the third density. However, the laws of physics down here have discovered that in order to control the envelope of energy of alternating current frequency, you have to use direct current. So it's positive direct current and there's negative direct current. We got batteries that are direct current. There's positive and negative sides to them. But basically,
so
you
our
feel a positive.
Our internal power source is DC then?
It's like it's basically an analogy. We are the soul is like the direct current helping to control, make decisions on the alternating current conscience. The example of that is your stereo. Your stereo amplifier, you raise the volume, you bring the treble up, and you'll hear more treble and you hear more alternating current volume. The woofers are moving according to the frequency. So the bass player hits a 60 hertz note and that woofer moves 60 times a second and you hear it. But you control that conscious state of an amplifier, amplifying your alternating current energy that you live in, with direct current circuits. And that's the only way to do it. There's one law, though, in physics. You cannot blend direct currents with alternating currents. You can use one to control the other. And it is needed to do so. So when you raise the treble or your volume on your amplifier, you're using direct current to do it because you have a manipulation of desire, like the soul, to do so to the conscious state amplifier to hear more volume, let's say, or more treble or bass on that music. And that circuit has what is called a DC blocking network that prevents direct current from ever leaking to alternating current voltages coming from the amplifier. And that is going to your speakers. They call it crossovers. Yes, they do separate the low frequencies so they don't go to the tweeters to blow up the tweeters because low frequencies are powerful. But what it also does is block the direct current from going to the tweeter and woofer because it will burn them. You cannot blend them together. But one is used to process the other. Same laws of physics say that when you have a direct current, you have to control that envelope with a AC bias. And that frequency is about 10,000 times higher by the laws of physics and the foundation frequency. So I believe the soul is very similar. It's the source. It's in a container for an experience. And it has its problems of communicating sometimes with the conscious due to medical health reasons, about bad practices, bad faith, bad spirituality, and so on. And also the negative entities that influence that come. So that's my understanding of what's happening down here with the soul somewhat. And the soul can ascend and continue on. And what it needs to do is probably easiest explained in what's called the Tree of Life of the Kabbalah. I'm not talking about the Gnostic religious side of it, but the actual scientific spirituality side of it. And the best person to demonstrate the power of the Kabbalah and its truthfulness, I would say, would be Carl Jung, the foundation of Psychology 101, still studied today in universities. A lot of people don't know, but he was a Kabbalist. And he used the structure of the tree to create the foundations of how you have to progress to attain proper personality, individualism, and decisions in life. And it reflects on the tree perfectly, like so many other aspects in life do on that. So that's the soul works on the conscience body as a vehicle to attain what it has to create different, what's called sephiroids in the tree of life, energies. And one of the aspects of the tree, once again, we'll use color. And if you look at the sephirite in the tree, if you ever look it up, you'll see there's specific colors on those 10 sephiroids. And earth is the murky one, all kinds of murky colors. But if you eliminate that, a conscience is what it represents. And you look at the other colors. And if you attain the values of those colors with the aspect of colors and blend them together, you will create the top sephirite, which is the color white, the Qatar, the heaven state, as the religions call it, the next level. Without one of the colors, you can't create the color white. White is the blending of the perfect amplitude differentials of the specific colors in the tree. The law of physics is expressed, but it's also expressed in the tree. The tree of life expresses many aspects in life: psychology, science, philosophy, and so on. And it's there is a system which I wanted to find out at one time due to an event that happened in my life that was major. And there is also random chaos. And that's what I looked into a little bit more. And another definition of random chaos I learned would be entropy. And entropy collides with us trying to organize ourselves to progress in life, to ascend to the next level. Entropy is there to prevent us from doing that. And the reason is simple. And this is the elevator pitch, which may sound like somebody crazy, but when the Anunnaki were noted to live 980,000 years ruling with the Elohim, they did it with science. There's no magic hocus pocus here. They learned how to live forever. The oldest papers that would describe what happened to them on this would be the Indus Valley papers. And it was written that it was an initiate that was sent here one time and lived forever, but learned that he couldn't live forever with his container, so he had to create a container to contain an energy that he lost, and that energy was his soul. Once an entity learns to live forever with science, the soul has no more chance to create new experiences, and to create new experiences to attain the next level. And the experiences are the sephirites in the tree. To get to the next tree structure, next density, he has to attain those levels. And if he's living in a container that's now permanent with science, it's in the prison. And the soul, according to these Valley papers, leaves the body. I believe this is the knowledge that they didn't want us to know with Adam and Eve, the tree of life. Adam and Eve lived a long time, more than the average human. We were downgraded after the flood. Noah lived for 800 years. We were brought down to 120 years, and that was done through the program called the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Sumerian kings. In a period of 280,000 years, they were now breeding them with human women, so they would live to a maximum of only 120 years, which is what the Sumerian tablet says. Let them be a splitting image of us, but only live for 120 years. A lot of religious texts took that part out. But so that basically, what the story of this Valley paper says is that he created an entity, and it was an entity called Primordial Man. And Primordial Man was not a good entity. I haven't been able to read much on that.
That would be like the caveman, or
no, we're looking before Anunnaki times.
Okay.
And Primordial Man, eventually with evolution, wanted to live as long as their God that created them.
All right.
Did not understand what was going on and why they were created in the first place, to hold, contain souls that needed to be borrowed. Because once the soul leaves the body, supposedly it finds out it needs to have a recharge, like your phone, your DC battery. You got to recharge it every now and then, or you're going to lose power. The conscience, which is the data, the memory on your phone, won't be able to operate, and the soul has left, so it needs to recharge. So it borrows soul. So it created a container called primordial man, who evolved eventually in time and also wanted to live forever like its creator, and decided to go to war against the creator and learned with science how to do it. But then it also learned that once it lived forever, its soul left, and it now needed to borrow soul energy temporarily to charge itself, to stay as a conscious state, to live forever. So it created an alien entity, according to the papers. The alien entity evolved, and the same story repeats itself in history. Went to war with primordial man, wanted to live forever, learned how to do it, and had to create a new entity. And that's where we came in the picture. The entity in question, I believe, according to the old writings of the Genesis, Enoch, Revelations, you name it, all that stuff, it's been colored, does not want to be seen. It was written, I think, in Matthews and I can't remember if it was John. And there was other writings in Revelations, I believe. And it says that once they can die, they live for a long time, but once they die, they will reappear in tainted skin or tainted flesh and appear as past loved ones or religious idols to deceive you. They can die only once more, and that would be the end of it, according to the writings. So when it was written that Yahweh, after the flood, decided to rule from above and use humans, minions, to do his deeds, I believe that was part of that story. And the entity that uses the graves, the UFOs, to abduct people, I strictly believe is for a series of, there's set sequences where they're using DNA and hybrids. I believe that they're also at the end of that whole cycle, you're now used to as a soul recharge station. And the people who study this, I found out after doing searches to see who the hell believes, and finding, what I'm finding are the Italians. The Italians are very advanced. They're banging on the ball, and Linda Moulton Howe is touching base on this too. She believes this is what's happening. If we know why they're here, it's a disadvantage to them. That's why they're doing everything to prevent us from knowing. They came here and said they were from Venus, they're from Mercury, and when we went to the moon, they said, oh, now we're from Orion, Reticuli. They're from here. They were left here. They lived here a long time. They had a need from another system. The Anunnaki, the whole story of Planet X, I believe, is true. But they broke a rule.
So we're approaching like Zachariah Sitchin material here, right?
Yeah, Zechariah took from the Sumerian tablets what they wrote about this. And this is where, that's the oldest source we have, the oldest language we have on this. And they basically were left here living permanently with their science because they broke a fundamental rule. They had sex with the human women that they created to help get their gold. And they say get the gold. I also suspect it wasn't written because they were forbidden to know the pure knowledge. They were boring our souls even from then to live forever. They needed, it was like we're their crop for prolonged survival. Their recharge of their battery. If we evolve to the next density, they lose access to our soul energy.
Oh.
Because we've evolved to the next, and they're sentenced here to this density as a conscious state. Remember Ben Rich flaunting to everybody? It's all about consciousness and telepathy.
Yes, that famous thing when
you have no soul and you live forever with a conscience, and you want to manipulate others because you need to borrow their soul. You don't want to hurt and destroy their souls. You need to bore, you manipulate their consciousness. I think that the negative interdimensional stuff affects your conscience. It makes you see things, makes you feel things. Now, there was some recent writings. Actually, it was Dr. Corrado Malanga, a microbiologist doctor in Italy, very much on top of this. He has a good history. And he does a lot of regressions. And I sent you this, Carol. I don't know if you had a chance to read the translated works. It was a French video, usually in Italian. Very hard to get Malanga's translated stuff. And he's done thousands of regressions. And he had permission to record a regression. And he touches with the entity that's been abducting. She's an abductee of UFO things. And whoever this entity that's in her is facilitating this thing. And he, during the regression, tricks the entity. Once he reaches it, he's reaching the conscious and subconscious as he's talking with her, and he goes deeper. And boom, this new character comes out and tricks the entity in letting it believe that he's from the same side, investigating what he's doing and how he's doing it to get more information on this video. It's quite remarkable. And he does say they're not that smart, but they know things we don't know. And he proves it with that, and he gets information. He brings out the fact that this whole thing is directed by the Lux, the LVX. And I was shocked when I heard that, because 35 years ago I bought J.J. Hurtak's book, the Keys of Enoch. And I didn't get into it much. I tried to get into what I specialize in my career in engineering, and nothing was ringing a bell here, and there's something wrong. But I always kept the book. But in it was the LVX mentioned that they adore and support. And the LVX is not. I mean, Malanga demonstrates on this that it suppresses you. It gives you, and this was the thing that rang bells with me, the LVX, which doesn't want to show itself, that needs soul energy, directs elementals to do this, that takes over into people and abducts people and that. And it basically, to me, is a negative entity that is abusing people, not being honest, that's stuck here. Another conscious state that's stuck here with advanced technology. And they're not going to evolve off this density. That's they may be not stuck on Earth. They may go to the moon and other planets with the technology. But one thing I do realize is that they needed humans from way back, as long as we could remember and write about, to do their evolvement. Because when they were left here, I don't think they were left here with their smartphones and everything intact. And they had to get humans to rebuild and collect minerals and things that they had not even discovered themselves. And proof of that is the friendship case of Italy. Similar to the Strangers in the Pentagon story, a group came down and presented themselves. And for some reason, they wanted the Italians to bring, but the Italian friendship case, they wanted them to bring them these minerals that were never used until today, used for chips today. So a lot of cases,
getting a corner on the market.
So there a lot of evidence that humans have been used by these entities. And I would say living at the point where if you don't have a body, you have a conscious state stored scientifically. It's a form of interdimension that we're not familiar with. And if they do appear with DNA, and according to the writings, if they get killed a second time, that's it. That's why they don't appear. They use elementals like these grays and things to come into interdimensionally appear and borrow our soul energies to charge their batteries. According to Malanga, on one of the recent translations, he says it's twice a year for 45 minutes. That's what's needed. Now, he made a claim that's quite shocking that I'm analyzing to get validation to it. And he's a doctor, and I haven't proven him wrong. And he's at least 12 years I've kept close with his writings now. But he states that there's right now 20% of the population that have souls. The rest are just conscious states. Made to suppress the soul so they don't evolve to the next density because then they lose access to their charging power. I believe this is what this is all about. They're using DNA and that for their progress and that because they got to.
Yeah.
It's quite shocking stuff, but I've been at it for 30 years.
What crosses my mind is
it doesn't. They're not going to tell us if it's true. I hope I'm wrong.
The soulless thing, the thing. Okay, I don't know. There's a heck of a lot of compassion missing from an awful lot of people on this planet. So would that be the soulless bunch?
Apathy is a sign. Narcissism is another sign.
Aha.
And I think it's generational with parents onto their kids. It's how do you identify it? I mean, my God, it's put it this way. One of the key elements to identify it is synchronicity.
Oh boy.
That is a trigger that you will get to say that what's going on here. Be cautious of that.
Right.
My philosophy from my experience, or my own experiences, dramatic experiences, is simple. Yes, some good souls have died and they've gone up, and there's a realm of good love. To me, that's what the definition of God is: love, positive energy. And there's a negative energy for us to see light and feel heat and material matter, frequency and matter on this density. That negative is stuck here. It's actually needed. May not realize it, but they're being used too. Because without it, we don't have the rest of the negative spectrum, which gives us our alternating positive and negative frequency to give us light and energy. That's my belief. But they're not going to evolve. Their souls have left. It's a conscious state. It's all about consciousness, in my opinion, when it comes to this, with the boring of our souls to charge those consciousness that live forever, are behind the scenes. So I believe a lot of them are still here. They were left here.
Wow.
They don't
Well,
want.
I don't want to stay here for eternity.
But that Ron is the definition of the two types of people in the world on the esoteric definition, which is mystic and occultic. Both take the same knowledge of life. You can't create what's not there. You're only fooling yourself. However, one creates the knowledge to learn and evolve so he doesn't have to sustain his life down here or have to come back with reincarnation. While the occultist, on the other hand, likes to take the knowledge to sustain his life, control his reincarnation on that basis. And when you divide the two groups of people between mysticism and occulticism, the mysticism doesn't have many branches on that tree. The occultism divides right away into white magic, black magic. Of the white magic, there's two branches. One is religion, and there's another branch on it. I can't remember what it is. And then after that, there's like 50 or 70 branches into the negative aspects of the occultism. And there's the things that transcend on the soul's involvement to attain the energies of the Sephirotes. Now, if we're to use the Tree of Life, if you ever have a chance to look at that, each Sephirite has a planet represented. And astronomy it reflects the laws of astronomy. It's unbelievable. But if you look at the values, you have splendor, you have achievement, you have justice, you have mercy, you have reproduction aspect, you got love, you got wisdom, and you have understanding. And they're different, very different. And if you look at the tree structure, Ron, to validate the tree, this is a very interesting story, a lot of people don't know. The tree was never written about because the word Kabbalah means oral tradition of the knowledge of life, never to be written, orally transmitted. And people did not write about it until the Hebrews wrote about it in I think it was the 13th or 14th century. And they started doing their renditions of it and so on. And then anything that's now discovered can be abused. And that was the reasoning why they didn't want people writing about it. Okay. So there was involvement on that basis. So when you look at the tree and you look at the sephites and the structures, the people who knew about the wisdom of the tree were talked about in the spice trades in India. So they decided to get all the wise men of the different countries together that spoke of the same structure and drawings in the sand, but they didn't understand each other. So what they did is they made picture cards to discuss the paths between the sephites. Just 10 sephites, 22 paths connecting them. And the picture cards were the universal language to describe the good paths and the bad paths. Carl Jung recognized the good paths, and that's what he wrote his foundation on. There's bad paths. Those cards later on in history, way down the road, were then taken by the Hebrews, and they called them the cards of the Torah. And the French took them and spelled Torah backwards and called them tarot cards. And they described the 22 paths in your life in the tree. However, the card fortune teller doesn't have a day to spend with you. She's going to get you to cut to a few cards and reflect on those paths and how you're dealing with those paths in your own life. If she's a true psychic, that's the source of the tarot cards, was the universal language cards by the wise men who knew of the tree and decided to share their wisdoms and the picture cards on those paths. So if you look at the top sephirite, the Keter, the heaven state, the white one, where we attain to get to the next tree, the top of our third density tree. It's white. And you go down and there's the first sephirite is the sephirite of wisdom. So they made a card for that called card 0 in the tarot.
I just have to interrupt you at this point, just say that the American Road Warrior is in the house, and he is saying that you are sounding deep.
Oh, deep.
Yes.
Deep
It's
I'm
really great.
trying to get
I'm very
going.
lucky because I've heard this a couple of times, and it's still starting. It settles after a while, and it is profound.
So one who has the wisdom, like I'm talking to you right now, without you maybe realizing I have some of the understanding, which is the other sephirite after it, in that upper triad of the tree. One who only has the wisdom and talks about it is represented by that pat in the card, the tarot called 0, the Fool. However, the one who displays he has the understanding of the wisdom and shows the understanding by the manipulation and control is card number 1. That's the Magician. So those cards are cards of wisdom in many ways of the tree. They weren't made for fortune telling. They're used as fortune telling, like I said, to narrow down all the paths in your life. Simplify a 15-minute session for $25 or whatever it might be.
Well, Ron, when did you start getting really involved in tarot, Ron? About a year ago?
Well, I seriously, about a year ago, I decided I could rejuvenate my gift that I had. I used to use regular playing cards to tell tarot, which many people don't quite understand how that works. But when you understand that it's numerology, it don't matter whether it's pictures or if it's numbers or whatever, the cards still tell a story about the individual that you're reading. So I was able to take a regular deck of playing cards and shuffle it up and with the cards that were laid out and placed on the run of what you laid out on the table, you could tell a story. Now, what was interesting was I was able to do this in a few times with people I didn't know, even know at all, personally know. And so when I got their story of their life directly from the card, I said, well, the cards told me that you were this and that, and this happened to you, and this is why you're in this situation, whatever, which I should not have known any of that, but the cards told me what was going on.
So that's from an intuitive point, right, Ron?
Yes.
Okay, that's different than what I was talking about on the, I guess you can say, the intellectual ground level explanation of the paths. Now, intuition, which is put in with the cards, because you can, like I said, there's 22 paths. You'll look at one path and feel your intuition. Intuition is a form of channeling. Einstein was the best one to explain it. Einstein's favorite quote from Einstein was, "Discovery has little to do with knowledge, but more to do with intuition." And that is proven with the story of Rudolf Steiner, who was a scientist and philosopher who wrote many books and was respected and known even to today. But he had encountered an entity called Ahriman. He drew Ahriman, a long nose, long chin, not a pretty entity. Ahriman got him to discover foundations that man needed to evolve, because Ahriman, this is back in the 1800s now, Ahriman wanted to get rid of humans and replace them with artificial intelligence. This is in the 1800s. And following that, we had Jack Parsons just before the end of the Second World War, who was leading NASA with his crazy wild ideas on the ICBMs. But he also had an entity.
Yeah, Jack Parsons, Jet Propulsion Labs.
Yeah, I mean, that was series on CBS, Strange Angel, which I've never seen. I would love to, because we don't get it up here. Here's another example of an entity channeling. I believe that channeling is the communication of your soul to your conscience. Who's communicating with your soul is the question you have to ask yourself, depending on the information, because it's often used to misdirect you. You have to be very careful. My philosophy is very simple on this. We have help from positive energies above, as we are also attacked and harassed by the negative energies down here also. And the difference is this. Let's use the analogy of today's environment, with all the kids being molested and everything. There is no good adult parent with good intentions on your street that would invite your 3-year-old child into their house without calling you first, because of what's been happening with that situation in our culture today, in the media and so on. The only ones that would are probably the bad ones wanting to do harm. Nobody that means well will do it without calling the parent. I believe in that. I also believe same as above, so as below. The same thing above. The good tries to not intervene because of that factor. We are being intervened negatively so much and deceived. So you have to be careful. There's a lot of psychics that have, one of the best stories I knew was CARLE Turner's third book. I think it was called, was it Masquerade of Angels?
And it
was the story of Ted Rice. Her other books were on women that she helped with regression and UFO abductions. 10 years of studies before she published. She didn't want copycats blurring her data with Barbara Bartalik. And they basically found a lot of stuff in that area, So you got to be careful about the intuition aspect. There's Ted Rice was basically a psychic, bang on the button growing up. He went to college, and all of a sudden the channeling information went against him, and weird things were happening, like really bad, weird things. She ended up having to help him in that. And Ted Rice, I believe, is still alive today. However, I don't know if it's his real name. The last thing I ever saw on the internet was about 9 years ago. And it was somebody on a forum saying, "I'm trying to find CARLE Turner's Ted Rice. I have reason to believe his grandmother is in trouble." Oh my God.
Thanks a lot. And no punchline. You can give us no punchline for that one. Doggone it.
That's the last thing I heard about that.
Yeah, I just,
I'll tell you something. If anybody wants to really learn about the phenomena on a good study, and it's the 10 years of study that CARLE Turner did with Barbara Bartalik and wrote 3 books on it. And those 3-book studies were read by Dr. Corrado Malanga in Italy, a microbiologist, who decided to repeat the 10-year study exercise, continuing her studies, because there were a lot of things that she wrote she did not understand. Nobody did. And he continued on and did not publish for 10 years like they did, and finally released the stuff out. because he believed the system was the best way of advancing, and he did advance tremendously. Now, a quick story on Malanga. There's a Italian producer who did a couple of films that Americans know. I can't remember the names. Vero Venturi is the film producer, and he decided to produce a film on one of Malanga's patients. And he released the film. It was produced in Italy, and it was sent to America, and it was banned in America.
You're kidding.
And the reason they said they banned it was because the title was in conflict with a movie that was not even released yet, called
and you can't. That's a puzzle because you can't copyright
Seventh
a title.
Day or Day 7 or something.
You can't copyright a title.
I'm almost 100% the movie wasn't
positive.
released, and that was the movie that Schwarzenegger was put into.
Well, but so
years
see,
later,
that's two things that don't make any sense.
That's right. So for 10 years, they finally brought it back under a different name, and it's on YouTube. It's called Alien Exorcism.
Yeah, right. I've seen the title.
Now, it's in it, the person who portrays Malanga is an actor. However, Malanga is just like, I guess you could say, what's his name that does the horror books in America and appears in his movies. Stephen King,
right.
Malanga, at the beginning of the movie, there's a lecture in university being given by the actor playing Malanga, and one of the people listening is Malanga himself.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, I love that.
But it brings in the Vatican's involvement on this in the movie, and the relationship of the abduction with the possession aspect. It's the same source.
Wow.
Different things being applied for different reasons.
Okay. You just exorcism. Listen, before I forget, this is incredible. Something that happened last week. The fellow, I'm going to bail on his name. The guy who, as a child believe it or not, it was like 49, much earlier than I thought, who inspired William Peter Blatty to write The Exorcist. Okay. This guy, what was his last name? It's terrible. But okay, it was not a girl. It was not a girl in the original case that this is based on. One thing I can tell you is that hilariously and not really connected, or was it? This boy's mother got a. I'm hearing an echo. This boy's mother is in the book of Guinness Records because she had the longest hair in the world. And in the entry, it notes that her husband and son regularly helped her care for her hair. Okay, well, that kid, no wonder his head turned all the way around. But, well, I don't know if that happened. But a lot of stuff happened in this actual case and the, some local diocese that happened in Maryland was involved, et cetera, et cetera. And now here's the point that really just, in spite of everything that this kid went through, he grew up to be one of the engineer team at NASA who helped design the heat shield to protect the Apollo tiles. Oh my God, this is true. This was in the LA Times coverage of something to do with, and the fellow died. I guess there's a book or something which is what triggers this. But yeah, so that's not a wild story as wild as it sounds. It's true.
Wasn't a certified scientist.
So there we go. Yeah. I mean, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do with some of this stuff? Now, the other question I have, you're talking about consciousness and energy. What do you think of what I talked about in the beginning of our discussion of this topic is with the eternal existence? What do you think about the soul energy or soul so-called light, soul light, like for instance, we're connected to what some people say we're connected to the source. Okay.
The one.
Yeah. And so we emanate from that source, and we're guided by that source, even if we don't know it. We're somehow guided by that.
As above, so below.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if we look at what we do down here on a microscopic level will combine molecules together and enzymes and create things and energies and solutions and things. So because of the harmonic nature of the tree, how we progress up harmonic with the relation of frequencies and the laws of harmonics, I believe that we are part of that on an infinity level. The tree that we're in right now, there's other trees above and so on. It's infinite. And we progress upward, just like we will develop a cell, mutate it, evolve it, and create it into something else that we need. I believe there's a need or an energy that grows, and that's the energy of positive love. There's only two people in the world. If you don't look at it esoterically, as I mentioned, mystic and occultically, on a conscious level, the only two people in the world are those that build sandcastles and those that could only destroy them. You'll see that on the beach at children, and it goes right up into adulthood. You know, so there's positive and negatives, and the soul is the controlling voltage that helps you fight whatever you're encountered to go through, and it's not easy. I mean, if this theory is true, that's being found, it's being practiced since as long as we can know, boring our souls because they want to live forever, and we're suppressed to stay here. That explains why certain people are saying, "Well, I've reincarnated 100 times." Like, what do you mean you're reincarnated 100 times? The oldest writings of the Kabbalah says you can only reincarnate it 3 times. The third time, when you fail, you're now combined with another soul in distress to try and make it. And after that, that's it. So why are people reincarnating 100 times? When you get into the advanced research of the Tree of Life of Kabbalah, you discover another element in the tree in old writings that don't exist in many writings. And it's another Sephirite, although many say it's not a Sephirite. It's called Dot. It's spelled Daath. Sounds familiar, right? And it's between the sun, which represents love that we create, and Keter, the heaven, just below the triad of understanding and wisdom. I believe this is something that was created with technology to suppress our souls and make it reincarnate over and over, like recycling batteries. You know, a car battery doesn't really ever die. People throw them away because it won't charge anymore. But they can be recharged with a higher voltage and re-equalized and reused by adding just distilled water. They don't die. And it's a marketing thing. The soul is like that. I mean, the container is recycled with genetics. Now, there's a system in the Kabbalah, and I got into this many years, numerology and the canons. One thing I have to say, I never believed in reincarnation. I had a intuitive distaste in my mouth from the start. I didn't know why. And I went to debunk it. And I went into the deep science of it with numbers. And one of the early studies was the Edgar Casey papers. There's over 150 patients that he read who they were in their previous lives. And in those papers was the date, the name of the person, the date they were born, and who they were supposed to be in the date they were born. Well, the reincarnation fit the narrow window of reincarnation rules under the canons of Kabbalah. That blew me away. That was my first time, well, hang on a second, maybe there's some truth here. What I think I realized, the intuitive disdain or distrust on the matter was it's used as a tool to keep us down here, to keep reusing our souls. Once we leave the density, it's out of their realm. God knows what's up there. It's the next level. I'm sure we'll have challenges. My philosophy on what's on the next level is if you're not ready enough, you're in trouble. Because if you think it's hard to get swayed into the negatives down here, wait till you see when they give you the keys to the big Cadillac up there and see the troubles you can get into when you got that vehicle. and if you don't have good intentions. So that's my belief on how it works from one truth to the next. It's a form of filtering, cleansing cells, molecules to a higher state, and repeat over and over. A form of alchemy. Like alchemy we do down here. We take the salt, we purify it, we get the oils that we need, oils of essence and so on, and use that to help ourselves out. And that whole thing about alchemy, I could talk for hours on that. I did many years of study on alchemy. Great stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So I believe, I mean, I normally wouldn't say this, probably a few drinks on New Year's Eve. Now New Year's, Happy New Year's, everybody.
Yes, Happy New Year.
But,
and Benjamin Zavala is in the house, and so we say also Happy New Year to him. And I just heard from Alan B. Smith, and he says Happy New Year. So,
oh yeah, there you go.
okay.
So if it's true that we are being used, our souls are being used for this, and the government knows what the entity, and I always call it the entity, there's no proof they come from another planet. And Jacques Vallée said it himself. The only evidence so far is that they come from here. He doesn't understand why. Daryl Sim wants to get evidence of the isotope because he wants to find out where the hell they're building their stuff here, or where, if it's elsewhere, to get proof of that. So there's some people on the right path. But we have to be careful.
With the technology of the UFO, the crafts that we see, or that we supposedly see, the flying saucers or the triangles, even.
It's the flavor of the month for our culture. It used to be elves, leprechauns, religious figures, Fatima.
Yes.
I mean, the latest documentary by it was on what's his name? Hang on a second. Marzulli.
Yeah, L.A. Marzulli.
Has an excellent documentary on Lady Fatima. And the foundation of it, he got the release of the original police records of 1917.
Oh, you're kidding.
And in the records, none of the children said that they were told it was the Virgin Mary. It was, they asked where she came from, and she pointed upward. And of course, being religious, that meant heaven. And the Vatican jumped on the wagon. Now, the true story is one child saw the event happen and told 3 other friends. And those 3 other friends are the ones that were noted in the books. There was a fourth person.
And I want to note here that Alan B. Smith is in the house. And American Road Warrior says James Fox. Or is it Marzulli and Fox? Are we talking about the same?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt there.
So they basically, children died within a year or two. And the one child that survived was taken by the Vatican and put into a secrecy of silence. And she appealed, got finally permission several years ago to talk, but died shortly after.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
wow.
She was. They didn't want her to speak and put her away. And
so, what was she all these years? She was a nun, I'm assuming. Okay.
Yeah. In the French, they call. I don't know if it would be similar to what they call the cloître, which means they're not. They don't talk to the public. They're in an isolated convent.
So they're cloistered, right?
I was given permission to go into one once.
Whoa.
For a filming, a documentary, and
oh my God!
It was. I was touched that they finally allowed, and had conversations with some, and it's where a lot of them retire and have illness, and they're taken care of by others who are also getting old. They're a little younger than them, and it's a sisterhood, and they pray a lot, and they do Holy Communion bread for the churches. The Catholic churches.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. So it's a bakery, then, is it?
Well, it's a way of suppressing quiet. I mean, you have to understand. There's been a lot of secrecy with the Vatican. I mean, they didn't become a country by themselves for nothing. There was a reason to protect themselves, and you have to understand it with all the evidence that that an example here is that the priests that have been caught with sexual criminal charges with boys. Well, hang on a second. why is there no reports of nuns being molested? But we have reports of a lot of children appearing in baskets at convents that were taken care of by the nuns, which I believe were the nuns who were pregnant themselves.
Yep.
Was left here. Look what we got. We'll have to take care.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
baby.
there's no way that there's no charges. I mean, they're not all, everybody has all gay tendencies. It could be bisexual. They could be one side. The world is open. Why is there no reports of women being sexually molested? And the nuns were there and they were told to be quiet. They weren't allowed to speak.
Right. The mind reels.
Yeah.
Well, this has been incredible. Carol, you picked a fine show today.
Hey, well, look, I just was like hanging around and sort of like very glad to very glad.
I figured I didn't know if Maria or Venus would be hanging around very long because of their hours and everything like that.
Right, exactly. Well, just mentioning, Newt and that's so cool, and that was fun to have Jesse.
I haven't heard anything from Charles, for God's sake.
Charles, honestly, where are you?
He's been muted.
Yes, he's been muted.
I had to quiet my mic.
Yes,
the fireworks going on.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, there are some in the distance from me, but yeah.
And I needed to quiet myself down because I have 2 dogs on my lap.
Oh yeah! Oh gosh! Yeah.
They don't like the fireworks either.
No, of course not. Yeah.
No, this has been a fascinating topic. I've always texted with Neutron, and I'm pleased to have had the opportunity to listen to him for a couple hours.
Yeah, I know. It's because it's it's just really so that listen, I hope this is okay, what's that thing they say that whatever it is you're doing on New Year's Eve that you're gonna do the rest of the year. So Newt, it's on you. Okay. Yes. And
I'm in trouble.
Yes, you are. Because
boy.
no, look at
certain things don't want to be known, and it's not good to release. That's the problem.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you could talk about things that were, like historical stuff. So, like, it's not like you're. Well, it's not like if you tell us, you'll have to kill us, right? So, right. So,
tomorrow you will all forget.
That's right. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow morning. Okay. All right.
I'll leave it at this. And this has been a beef on me for all the radio shows I've been hearing for many years. Is everybody that believes telepathy is the way for the future to be so great? I want everybody to consider something. We all have free will here, with our soul and conscience. Okay? Once you are given or imposed telepathy, you lose your last level of free will. Because as the boss is giving you shit, you can't even think he's an asshole because you'll lose your livelihood. It is a form of slavery, and any entity that has telepathy in it is also a slave in the hierarchy. That's my philosophy on that whole thing. Not good.
So I'm almost thinking, and by the way, hey, Bobby Burgess, and Happy New Year. But I'm thinking, is it at all tangentially connected, Neutron, to say that it is akin, what you just said is akin to that, the old thing of, I don't know to whom I should attribute this quote, but it's pretty old, that the government that can give you everything you want can simultaneously take away everything you have. Would that is that similar? Charles, do you think maybe?
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's possible at many levels, of course.
Yeah. But it just lined up with what you were saying, in an interesting way. So, so happy dreams. Oh my God, no, but yeah, no. Listen, we can't. We can't. We have to be aware. We have to practice discernment to the nth degree. But awareness from many sources is a really good thing, I think. Yeah, and that thing about telepathy, that's really unnerving to me because, like, as somebody who's had an awful lot of it, So, like,
I hadn't really thought that much about that.
Yeah.
But if there would be I don't see how you could become a slave in a telepathic society. Because
Well,
you
if
would when you met someone, you would instantly know they were an asshole.
Oh, you're the asshole. I've heard about you.
Or an exploiter.
Okay, well,
and know their deepest motivation.
See, now that's fascinating.
But now that's okay. So you're set now to prevent that. And do you have free will doing that? No, it's not what you want. You have to be an asshole because you're evolving. You need those experiences. And now you can't do that because they know you're an asshole.
Okay. So, all right. Oh my God. All right. Listen. So here comes paranormal pop. Hello, Alan again. Interjecting this. LOL. But I think telepathy can also be regulated. One may be able to control what they share telepathically.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Sort of opening and closing the mind at will, yes, he says.
Yeah. On a form of technology, yes, but on a form of abuse, I don't believe it'll stop there. I'll give you a heads up. There's 2 companies that made recent announcements, and Elon Musk is one of them with his new cell phone. It's going to be using, he's got a lot of good things. It's going to be using his Starlink instead of cell towers, so it becomes a sat phone. The metals make it sturdier, made from his SpaceX agency. The battery from his Tesla car. The battery's going to last 10 times longer. It's got integrated firmware, hardware, and apps for his solar roofing controls and other businesses he's involved in offering for consumers for a better world. But he shocked me. He says, it's even ready for a new chip to be put on the brain if you're willing. So you can now control your phone with your thoughts as opposed to your fingers. And I'm going, what's the guy against AI talking about this? I was confused. You know?
I am confused. I will say that what is amazing to me is this is not new technology, this controlling with the brain, a device outside the body, because the best man at our wedding and my husband's best friend was an internist who himself contracted ALS at a very young age. And he was part of an experiment. His name was Lance Meager, and he was groundbreaking in a lot of the treatment, et cetera, that is still kind of in the lab stage. But what he was the recipient of was a chip, a microchip. Now, let me see if I can, the date would have been like, 1983, something like that, in the Pacific Northwest, and a microchip implant at a university hospital so that he could control his computer because he had lost his vocal abilities.
Yeah.
So that tracks back a bit. And also we have this thing of, like, I know very little about it, but it's body modification, and at some point some corporation is rumored to have. Now, my IT son said that was blown out of proportion, that was a lot of hype. There weren't that many individuals. A company where you had something implanted in your hand that gave you, like, you didn't have to have a key to open your office or something, right? You just run or a card or anything, right? And that there were individuals who went for that. So what I'm trying to think about here is, if you accept it, I mean, how many people would truly, given the fact that thing, the body modification at the corporation, was an exaggerated number? What are we talking about, and what are the demographics? Who would do that? Who would opt for a brain implant like that?
Well, I remember watching a documentary about 8 years ago. They trained a rat to play a video game in front of a screen. They prevented the ping pong from going through by hitting the proper button. He got a treat. And they took the brain out of the rat while it was alive. And on the video, they showed the brain on the chip, now on the computer, playing the bloody video game while it was still partly alive. And that's the beginning of able to transfer conscience. And
this might have been the same set of studies, something to do with a jet pilot being
controlling.
Now, a rat brain controlling a jet.
That whole project was lacking funding at one point, and I read that in order to get funding to advance it for military purposes with thought control. They put the money into gaming to develop it, and the gaming sales in that area where you can now wear helmets to control your video games.
Yeah.
The funds from the profits are going to further the advanced stuff used for military purposes.
I just want to say, read the novel Armada, and I cannot think of the author's name right now. Armada deals with, so I don't want to do a plot spoiler, but my son was so charged over this book. And, you know, if you're not a gamer, you have to kind of like, there are great passages that you have to sort of like scan and realize that they're there for a purpose, but you can't. Okay. But still, like, I'm almost through with the book. It's just, it's an incredible read. Armada. Who wrote it? Damn it. Cannot think of this guy's name. He's written several other things. And, was very much part of the gaming world, strangely enough. But go ahead, talk among yourselves, and I'll look for this guy's name here.
So now, do you remember the episode with the Google glasses? You remember that? Neutron?
I don't know.
Okay, there was a thing about Google glasses, and what it was you could have this pair of glasses on your head. And you can have a little screen. You can read.
Sure. Yes, right.
And you can get your, like you're talking about, you can get your email and everything like that right from your
yes, and the glasses.
Right.
Yeah. Now the odd thing is that didn't quite go too well because people were having vision problems after this.
Well, you think? I mean, there was another. This is just a pop. I have only a pop frame of reference for whether. There was reputed to be a study in the 70s, late 60s, where they put the subject in sets of eyeglasses that turned everything upside down. And after a certain length of time, and I don't know how long, and they just wore them, and they were in, it was obviously a controlled environment bump, but when they took them off after this certain length of time in the experiment, lo and behold, everything was still upside down for a certain length of time until the brain readjusted. Yeah, I mean, this is reputed to be true. By the way, Armada, a novel, Ernest Cline, Cline. Okay. Yeah, and oh my God, I'm just telling you, you know, and it's also got. You know, see, here's the thing. It's got all this video game stuff and technology stuff and wonderful sci-fi stuff, but it's also got heart in it. And in fact, I teared up a couple of times. So yeah,
I'll be right back in less than a minute. Hang on.
Okay, right. He's going to go read Ernest Cline's book.
What we need to do is learn how to put these links up. And I know Alan has a little bit more talent with this gift on this program here on this type of thing. So when he's on next week.
Yes, I know. And I'm also going to say, I'm going to read blah, blah, blah. Yes. Alan says regarding, no thanks, Elon. That's not the type of telepathic abilities I want. I'd like to think there is a future where humans organically achieve telepathy. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that. Yeah. I've had some experiences with telepathy, and I was able to achieve the proper usage of it. But again, like what Neutron was talking about with the power of certain gifts, you know, where is that ability coming from, really? You know, so you know,
sometimes it's kind of like it's a funny thing. I mean, I can only answer that to say that my family had it, my birth family, tremendously. And you know, story for another time, but the first time that I ever did summer stock, so that I was like, oh gosh, 300 plus miles away from home, I had a really interesting, weird 3-part dream that was so strange. It was standalone. It was kind of like, I was really excited to be doing this, you know, working with this company and these professionals and, you know, names that I'd, you know, grown up knowing, blah, blah, blah. I was a kid. It was my first summer stock stuff. But my mom, you know, it's like I called home just to talk, blah, blah, blah. And I said, listen, I had this dream. Okay. Now we'd talk about dreams all the time, but this 3-part dream, this dream trilogy. As I ticked off these things, she said, "Oh, you witch," because she said, and then she told me chapter and verse of these 3 things that had happened in the neighborhood that I couldn't possibly have known, in any real sense of that thing. So again, we've got a, I don't know whether her mother had anything like that. I know that I kind of have that with my kids, and certainly did not make a big deal of it, until they got grown, shall we say, because it was I didn't want to color their attitude. I didn't want to kill any spirit, but I also didn't want them to go overboard and just, before they made up their own minds on what was what in the world of the weird,
Well, we did really good. Thanks to Neutron. He saved the show.
He did. I want to tell you. Well, he is. I'm telling you that once he and let's see. I was Skyping with simultaneously with Newt and Renee Barnett from Night Vision Radio on KGRA-DB Friday nights. I don't know the time, but. And I made some remark, and so I was exchanging because they knew each other, back in IRN days. And she said I ought to have him on my show sometime. So keep that in mind, Newt.
Yeah,
and Carol, you've invited me. It's
yes.
It's a thing that certain things shouldn't be said to infuriate those who don't want it, and also to allow others to realize and abuse. And it's a two-sided sword, and people, I think, still should know so they can make up their own minds, or at least research. And I'll be the first to say, don't trust what anybody says.
Right.
Always take what they say, put it aside unless you have evidence to discredit it, until you find evidence yourself to prove what's been said. And that's the type of world we live in. You have no choice.
Yeah, that's interesting with that concept is that
there's limitations. I mean, I remember the Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on my door, and and I said to them, I says, I'll make a deal with you. I'll give you as much time as you'll give me to explain what I understand, how your religion was created. They never come back, but as the religious try to impose their ways, I don't want to impose my ways. And I told them, I says, I was born under a religion not by choice, by upbringing, but if I was to change religion today, I would be wise about it. And before I change my mind on which religion to choose, I would study all of them. The problem is, by the time I study all of them properly, I'll be too old to practice the one I choose.
Exactly.
So the question is now to go to the source. What happened before, and
that's a lot of work when you have to read about or study all these different religious viewpoints. And
I was never into studying the religions, but one thing you have to realize is if you can find common elements in all the religions, you can rest pretty much assured that there might be some form of truth to what they're saying. They may not be saying accurately, but there's commonality there, and that says a lot. They have to, however, decipher yourself. Like you have to remember Yahweh at 10,800, divide the people, 5 languages and 11 religions, or it was 5 religions and 11 religions. I can't remember. And that will keep them fighting and not understanding each other. And that's what's happening today.
Yeah.
And I laugh today when I hear friends of mine that are Lebanese from Lebanon, and they're pissed off about the Israelis, and the Israelis, Jewish people, are pissed off at the Lebanese people. And I'm going, they don't even realize why they're fighting and how long it's been. And it started after the flood.
It's
the first
biblical.
Civilizations were the Amalekites and Amorites, Canaanites that followed. And we had the battle of the giants. And in Lebanon is where a lot of the giants were staying. And I mean, these people were all weaned down deliberately throughout the ages. But you have to remember the Hebrews were the ones that were trying to get rid of them. You got the story of David and Goliath. But even before then, when you were under the rulership of Joshua, it was the Exodus that was being discussed. that the Hebrews were being told, we will release you as slaves from Egypt if you do a covenant with us. And the deal was, from what I've been reading, was Joshua had to kill the Nephilim that survived the flood. And Joshua agreed, and under Moses they were released, and things happened there that weren't very normal with Moses, by the way, but I won't get into that. But Joshua failed to kill enough Nephilim because he was in close family ties with Nephilim families. Not to say they were all bad, probably, but supposedly God, which was Yahweh, Enlil, Allah, was so pissed off, he says, well, you're not getting your land as promised, and they were left without a land for 40 years. So then they went under the rulership of Saul, who failed to kill enough Nephilim. Then it went under Abraham, and it went under David, if I remember the proper order. I may be wrong, excuse me if I am. But and it
no,
was
you're
under
damned
David,
eternally now.
and the story of David and Goliath was expressed, and finally they got given their land. But Gary Wayne's writing shows clearly that Goliath was not a Nephilim. He lived with the Nephilim in that valley, and he wanted to be a Nephilim. So he was trying to flaunt himself by showing off, come on out and fight every day. He was tall, but he was not of a Nephilim pure bloodline. And he was mainly a wannabe, but it made history.
God. I'm picturing this like a graphic
so today,
novel, right? Incredible.
I think they're still fighting the same battle. The Hebrews got rid of the Nephilim, and the Lebanon represents a lot of that bloodline, and they're still fighting it out without knowing what the battle originally came from. It goes from you hurt my grandparents now and my sister and brother, and it just goes on. But it stemmed from that whole battle.
This is
fun. And the Genesis 6 conspiracy is about the contamination of the human gene. It was written in our religion. The archangels were upset that God loved man more than them, so they went to war. They went to war before the flood. This started, by the way. They went to war by killing the man, raping the woman, so they would have giant children. The women were dying giving birth, I would guess, with the size of the children. And these Nephilim children were bastard children that were not ever respected or looked at by the rich, ruling, smart hierarchy above, because if they went up above, they would contaminate the bloodline. So they were left down here, and they were pissed off with God, or the upper echelon, as you would call it, these demigods.
Understandably.
And they went to war and decided to get rid of man and contaminate the genome by raping the women. And it got to the point where the flood came, and Noah was said to be a pure family bloodline. However, in Gary Wayne's thesis, he found evidence that Noah's son married a woman who had Nephilim bloodline in her and gave birth to children that killed each other. And the same story happened with Adam and Eve, by the way. And Ron, you were asking about that story.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, what I gather was Lilith was the first woman before Eve, and they were not human yet. They were Homo sapiens that couldn't reproduce. They were controlled reproduction. They were used for their needs, whether it was storing soul energy, getting gold, or both of the above.
Okay.
But it was then that Enlil didn't like the humans, and Enki found that the humans were falling in love with each other. And Enlil says that's forbidden. And Enki went above his head to the council and overrode his father and his brother Enlil. And that was the beginning of the hate against human even more. And it was written that Enlil did 3 plagues to kill the humans. There's 2 details of the plague. One of them was about infertility, which makes sense if you want to get rid of humans. The other one was in the Popol Vuh, the Mayan book. And Popol Vuh is a great book. And they talked about getting rid of humans and making them stupid and dying by spraying some particles in the air. And you hear that and you go, my God, chemtrails today.
Right.
But so they had to save the human being. And Enki and his sister who created them and found out they had values because they loved. They weren't just monkeys and apes, they actually have feelings and everything. So he decided that in order way to save the human beings, in my opinion, was to show them how to procreate and genetically modify them so they can, which was forbidden. Now they were casted out. Now remember, the Bible says, God says, if you eat from the forbidden tree of knowledge, you will die. And the Bible doesn't argue that they didn't die.
Right.
Why did God lie? And Gary Wayne's thesis finds that they were only expelled from Eden in Iraq, out of the wall for 7 generations. And under Lamesh, they were now allowed to come back to these semi-gods that were ruling into the Garden of Eden on the condition that they would give their virgin daughters to the semi-gods and kill their oldest sons or something, prevent an army from being formed against them, I would guess. And that's 7 generations after they were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. And
so what was the deal with the
snake? Let me tell you about the snake. The story was this: every time that Yahweh would come back into power, he would change the script of his brother Enki and turn him into the evil villain, according to the writings. He became the snake. The snake of the humans. Well, excuse me, but the snake in the tree of life today is expressed by doctors today saving lives with the Carduceus. It's the same emblem. It represents the story of Adam and Eve and the snake. Now, the snake, as portrayed by Yahweh, that everybody feared because snakes bite, was now evil, showed humans how to reproduce in order to prevent the extinction of the humans by Enlil. And however, it was written that not only Enlil, but Enki himself was guilty of having sex with a woman and creating Nephilim children. Both of them, by the way, were left down here, in my opinion. You know, and so they had advanced technology. They were, I don't think they were left with all their smartphone gadgets, but they had to reattain those using humans. And then they genetically downgraded humans from the, I mean, Adam and Eve lived a long time. Noah lived a long time. And then it went down the hill for time. And the writings are the Gilgamesh, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Sumerian kings list, where only 8 or 11, I think it's 8 or 11 kings lived for a period of 280,000 years, or ruled for 280,000 years on that. So it's a thing about genetics, and that's what Genesis 6 conspiracy is all about. If you really want to read a book, it's going to take you a couple of years to read it, and you'll be shocked.
Right.
The Genesis conspiracy by Gary Wayne, definitely, it's the shocker of them all. You know.
Wow.
I think we'd have more fun listening to you tell the story. So there you go.
honestly, and next time visuals, doggone it.
Yeah. Let's work on learning how to do this. Sharing the links and the websites or whatever.
You betcha.
I think there's. I know other people do it, and I don't think they get banned for showing a link of a web page. I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah, I think you're right.
As long as we're not playing music, you know, or saying something totally off the wall. If we're just talking about crazy stuff like we're doing,
right.
There's not anything wrong with that. We're not trying to start a war with anybody or, you know, start a riot or anything like that. We're just having fun.
See, I don't know. No, I can't. Did I sign something? I actually that's.
If they take it
absolutely.
off, we know that we touched a nerve.
Yeah, really. That's exactly.
No, this is freestyle here, Carol.
Exactly. Love it.
No rules as far as that's concerned.
No.
We're already getting a visit.
But now,
really.
Neutron, as far as you are concerned, if you are interested in using this next New Year, which we are now all Happy New Year. Well, not Carol.
Yes, that's right. Except, not me. Not yet.
Anyway, those of us east of the Central Timeline,
right?
We're Happy New Year to everyone, and you'll have to call me later, Carol, and tell me in a couple hours Happy New Year. I guess I'll be asleep.
Yes, I guess I will try to do that. Yes, there's a fire in the fireplace downstairs, and I'm going down there. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for taking some time out.
Oh, listen, are you kidding? It was my treat. It was really this feels very good.
A little bit different than what I had planned, but all in all, I think.
Well, that happens. And I'm so glad that you could be here, Newt. That was really great. And Charles, you were a little too quiet, so we'll have to hear from you.
Yeah,
You'll
we're
be
gonna
around.
have to.
Will you be around on Friday for Alan, Charles?
He can be.
Well, I want it. He's nodding yes. I hope he's nodding yes.
Yes.
Nod your
Yes,
head
I
yes,
will.
Charles.
I
Okay, there we go.
promise.
Okay. All right. Oh no, that'll be really cool because I just I connected with Alan, Skyped me, and you know I said that I was going to be part of that too. So and that is
Oh, there
really
you go.
thank you
Wonderful.
so much. That's really going to be neat. All
Well,
right. All right.
As I had
I
said
was just so
before,
glad to hear from you
Yeah.
again, and
Yep.
to have the opportunity to talk with
Yeah.
Neutron. That
Oh yeah.
Hey, it's a
Oh
pleasure with
yeah,
everything.
my God, what a guy.
I took my time to listen tonight. You know,
Well, thank you, Charles.
Yeah.
For,
Well, now you got
And
that out of
being
your
here.
system, Charles. So
and I thank you for
Yeah.
being here, both of you.
Yeah. This was a lot of fun, and we had a lot of people hopping on and seeing what was
I
going
know, and
on.
Maria and Vanessa and yeah, Lady V and yeah, Venus Vision. So and you know we'll connect with her more later.
Oh
I
yeah.
am sure to be
Oh yeah.
continued.
Now,
All right.
Lady V has done some readings for us, and
Oh,
Maria
cool.
does readings as well.
Oh my God.
But
Oh my
Charles,
God.
Charles and
Yeah.
I have had Venus actually do the readings for us, and she's been spot on with everything that has happened within our particular situation.
Oh yeah.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
One way or another, we ended up dealing with you know, like she mentioned, medical issues
Right?
before.
Wow.
And Carl's was a little bit more serious than mine, but I still had a medical issue that I had to deal with when I was at Pine Bush, you know. And
Just
so
amazing.
there's no way that she could have known that, you know.
Yeah.
But when I went
Wow.
through it was like, that's exactly what she talked about.
Wow.
She was our
That
safety
is
our
really
safety
something.
officer for the
Yeah.
trips.
And so if
You
you pay
know.
attention to what she says, not as being a fear, don't be a fear of it,
Yeah.
but pay
No,
attention
right. Just
to
it's
it.
a heads up. Hey,
Yeah.
this just in.
Forewarned
Right.
is
Yeah.
Oh God. All
forearmed.
right, you guys. So
Well,
yeah,
thank you.
exactly. Right,
Well, I
right.
want to
That's
thank
yeah.
everyone for being here, and thank you for the show.
Oh,
Go
Hey,
check out
thank
thank
you,
you.
and happy New Year, everybody,
yeah,
and
Happy New Year for everybody too, and live the positive lights.
indeed, honey, and we
Neutron.
will all talk soon. All
Always
right.
welcome, Neutron. Don't
Yeah.
be a stranger.
Yay. Love it. Love it. All right. Good
And
night, you
Carol,
guys.
we'll see you next time. Bye
Kisses
bye.
and hugs from California.
All
Okay.
right, thank you.
Good
Bye.
night. Thank you.
Good night. Good night,
Good
Charles.
night.
Good night, Neutron.
Good night.
Good night, Carol. And yeah, just close out. There you go. Now I'm the only one left all by myself. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight and sitting here for a few hours and just enjoying the conversation. I did kind of go a little bit different than what I had planned, but we had fun talking about all kinds of stuff. Bobby said we were buffering, but I didn't see any buffering on my end. I don't know. But we'll have some fun next week, and we will be talking with Alan B. Smith, and Carol is going to be running that interview with him, and I think Maria will be with us on that one as well. So we'll have a couple of people helping with that situation, and Jesse will be here next week with the UFO report real quick after the first 30 minutes. He'll be here with us. Okay, so all right, so keep that in mind, and we're gonna have fun with this StreamYard thing and learn how to use the functionality of it. And I gotta make sure that everything's working on the audio and everything. Like tonight, I had trouble right when I was gonna go live. Well, actually, when I tried to do music with a theme today, or yesterday, the Mixler connection didn't go through, and it was on the Mixler side because Charles tried to get signed on and he couldn't, so it was on the Mixler end why it wasn't working. But it looks like it's been working all this show. Anyway, we're done for now. Thank you for joining us again, and we'll see you next week on Intermission Transmission. And of course, brand new year. Happy New Year to everyone who has gone past the midnight hour. And for those who are still waiting for it, we'll see you on the next a couple of hours. We'll see you on the other side. All right. Everybody have a great night. Have a great rest of your holiday weekend. And also, of course, with the new year, hope everyone succeeds in everything that they're doing that's positive, and that we can accomplish great things together as a community and really have fun learning about everything. So let's work on that. All right. So my 3 things that I have for a New Year's resolution is finding more gold, because I'm a prospector. So finding more gold, finding more happiness, and finding more music. Never can go wrong with that. With those 3 things, gold, happiness, and music. And anyway, the experience of the gold finding is kind of a lifelong thing that's programmed in. So anyway, I'm out of here. Thank you for joining me again, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great night.